Everybody, welcome to Call of Duty Challengers Elite. It's time for a week number 2 of the final season of the season. The terminology of seasons this year. It is what it is. Anyway, it's time for Call of Duty Challengers Elite. My name's Infinity. Joining me on the desk is proper Andy. I love your beard. It's grizzly. You're starting to look like a lumberjack.
Yeah, it's getting pretty thick over here. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was just sitting here talking in the digital green room, if you will, with our director of Daniel and you as well. I don't know why I'm growing a beard out. It's in the middle of summer. Some life decisions need to be made going forward, but it's way too hot outside. But yes, it is getting grizzly.
Yeah, I also decided to wear a really thick shirt. I've just realized this is a really bad idea. But it is really hot at the moment. I know we made the same comments last week, so we won't bore you with all of that rubbish. What we will bore you with, though, or rather not bore you with, is the games that we have coming up today. Of course, this is week number 2 here in Europe, and that means the action is starting to heat up. If these teams want to make it out of the round robin stages, and Andy, of course, after what the Wobble Bob side, I'm going to struggle with that all day long. After what that side managed to do last week, they really started to shake up things here, and that means the teams that we're kicking things off with today, Ultra Academy U and Rokkr Academy, these two teams are actually now kind of at risk here and not making out of the round robin stage.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? When you go back and you look at how historically all the seasons of the Elite have gone by. Obviously, you do have Rokkr Academy, Team More, and Ultra Academy EU, all with dubs underneath their belt, sure. But then you come in towards season 4, and there feels like there's another wrench that came into the system. And we always knew that how competitive, especially like the top 5 teams across all the different players that represent these European teams, how competitive they are throughout this entire of the year, that this was going to end up happening. You would truly feel like, especially at the end of the season, with a team like a Wubbabubs being put together around Brezzy, and with all that team as strong as they've looked, they're undefeated. And now you
Yep.
do have Rokkr Academy and Ultra Academy EU. They're both tied up 2 apiece with both their losses plus their wins. With a rest of the season for this 4th and final season, Brody, not exactly too comfortable for both of them. They're still trying to come into their own. They're still trying to get a little bit more comfortable with their roles, their player swaps, substitutions, whatever may have you. There's a lot of still big stipulations that have to come by. This is a big matchup for both these teams that could honestly be the end all be all when it comes down to head to heads or overall series record to make top 4 at the end of this round robin stage.
Yeah, right, because they're not out of the woods just yet either. I believe they both still have tough matches ahead of them. There isn't kind of an easy breeze towards the playoff bracket past this point, but yeah, this is absolutely the first big stumbling block, I think, for both of these two teams here in week number 2. I think especially with kind of what happened with Ultra Academy EU with that loss versus the Wobbabobs roster. I think that really just did shake everything up, and now you're starting to ask questions like, well, if they can beat Ultra Academy EU, what other teams can they beat moving forward? So a lot of questions, I think, for us to ask. Of course, we'll get a lot of those answers today. Ultra Academy EU versus Rokkr Academy is the match that we're kicking things off with, of course. So we should say this is not the only broadcast going on right now. Over at youtube.com/COD Challenges, I believe you can actually check out that Wobbabobs roster. I want to say they're going head to head with Team War. That is
That's
what I
right.
have in my head right now. Wow, would you look at that? 1 for 1 on predictions right now for what I should already know. But nonetheless, that is the match I believe that's going on right now at youtube.com/COD Challenges. If you want to go check that out, I believe I Hold Shift and Visions are running you guys through that one. But nonetheless, so let's get talking about Ultra Academy EU versus Rokkr Academy. I think we should probably start the conversation with the former team here, of course. They've brought Wee Man into the roster once again, we should say, for this season, Andy. And I would say he's been a very valuable addition. He's looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back to that Team War announcement when they were bringing in Harry, they were moving away from Wee Man. One of the things that was honestly talked about was that Wee Man does play with a certain amount of gusto, a certain different type of speed that you would almost not necessarily expect an AR to play with. Is always trying to fish out these engagements. I do quite like that when it comes down to this Ultra Academy EU roster. When you're thinking about how that does couple along quite well with Furious. I mean, he is Mr. Instigator when it comes down to this roster. SMG or AR, no matter the map. Furious is always trying to find himself in engagements continuously. And that works out quite well because you always have Beans right behind them. But what if Beans is not in the same route, is not in the same site of pathway that Furious is trying to instigate a lot of these openings for? Well, then insert Wee Man, that second AR that isn't always going to be necessarily concerned with trying to anchor out a position when it comes down to about 15 seconds worth of hardpoint time. He's getting his hands dirty. He's getting into the mix, trying to make sure that their SMGs, both Vortex and Furious, are always backed up quite well. And although there were some growing pains, as we almost come to expect with this Ultra Academy EU roster at the beginning of seasons of the Elite, they have surely started coming to their own with their previous 2 matchups last week. Yes, fell short in that 1-3 loss to Wubbabubs, but in that 3-1 win versus Team War, they looked great.
Yeah, indeed. Ultra Academy EU, I think, have most certainly benefited from bringing Wee Man onto the lineup, of course. And I think simultaneous as well, this is something that we'll be talking about later on during the broadcast. I have no doubt if we do end up seeing Team War, I think it has actually affected Team War. You lose Wee Man, that is a hell of a loss because he's a very good player to have on your roster. So, interesting dynamic, I think, there. I think for Ultra Academy EU specifically, one of the things that stands out from week one again is not just that loss to the Wobbabobs lineup, but again, we talk about the strength from season 3 where they, of course, they ended up winning the entire region and their hard point in SCD. I would say it doesn't quite look as succinct as it did back then. So we'll be keeping an eye on that moving forward. But moving the conversation on to the Rokkr Academy side again, I think the talking point for this team hasn't changed from season 3. And I know the Rokkr Academy fans, the Rokkr fans are tired of us talking about it, Andy, but I still do think it's the talking point of this roster, right? It's like, you've brought Sukri into the team, you pushed Lucky over towards the sub role. Has that worked? I think, again, it comes down to this point of Lucky and Real are consistently saving this team, and they are absolutely the stars of the show.
Yeah, they truly are, right? Again, this is a point that I brought up in season 3 when we were casting Europe as well, is that you almost have to make sure that this is worth it, right? Losing Journey to that AIM esports roster and then picking up Sukri, obviously the one-for-one Spaniard trade, as we do know that as far as the top 9 players in Spain are all playing in Challengers Elite, maybe
Yep.
not in the same region, but regardless of the matter, it's one of those things you have to make sure that it is worth it. And we have seen Sukri, obviously, in previous seasons when he was playing with that AIM esports roster, Eric Boom and co, that he was able to obviously play out that anchor role. But the pacing is very, very different. It's not one-to-one when you do move over towards this Rokkr Academy roster because Real loves to be able to get up in the enemy's faces, really try to, I guess, infiltrate their front line and try to find their way in towards the back to be able to really brute force their way in towards a lot of these hard points. And then you lost your SMG duo of Journey. So then you have Lucky that, again, to your point, has been stepping up in a big way, not to the same exact degree as what we saw back in season 2 of the Elite when he was playing with an AR and was still sniping a lot through S&D. Now he's picking up this SMG flex role, and in this specific season has had themselves a great opening comparatively to season 3 of the Elite. Has obviously been clutching a lot of different points in time, but looks a lot more comfortable on the role as well. He is the #1 player in this lobby statistically, 1.23 overall KD with about a 60% flat true engagement success rate comparatively to last season when we were getting in towards week 2 of round robin. He was sitting at maybe like a 0.89, maybe about like 45% true engagement success rate every single time that Lucky was getting engagement. This time last season, he wasn't walking away with a kill, or it says he was mostly walking away with a death. This time around 60% of the time, he's either getting a kill or assist, and he's playing his life to a fine tee as well. Always making sure that Rokkr Academy have the space provided for themselves. It is interesting to be able to see how this roster change, this role change for Rokkr Academy has slowly came into their own, but is it going to be enough to take down Ultra Academy EU? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Of course, and we'll have the answer sooner rather than later. Of course, Rokkr Academy versus Toronto Ultra Academy EU will be going head to head very, very soon. For now, though, we know you guys are here to see some Call of Duty, so we're going to give it to you. We're going to switch over towards one of our other matches right now from our wonderful observers in the back rooms. AIM Esports going up against Invincibles, and I think as well, right now we'll put the scoreline aside here for just a second, Andy, because I think this is what we have to talk about. But again, we talk about the importance of this specific matchup. Again, AIM are in the conversation right now to qualify. Invincibles, they're still technically in the conversation, but their running is horrendous, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's definitely going to continuously be tough. Don't worry about what's going on the top of the screen. I have no idea what that even means. This is map #1, AIM Esports, just absolutely just bulldozing their way over Invincibles, and it's almost what you would expect for AIM Esports. Historically, the core 3 of this team, Yako, Eric Boom, and Super, have always been really good at control. This time around, going into week #2, Brody, they are 6-0 in hardpoint, and they're making sure Invincibles know that fact.
Yeah, AIM got very good in Season 3. I think that was kind of the best that they've looked. Again, they benefited so much from that roster change, as we've said, time and time again. It really felt like that was going to happen, and they certainly has. But, in towards this game now, they're looking to put a statement victory up against Invincibles to kick off this best of 5, and it would be, I think, a really good start to week #2 if they could get this one done. Just looking to close things out here on the Fountain Hardpoint. Invincibles, they're getting some wayward spawns at the moment. One over towards Rooftops, one over towards Vines, and they have managed to entrench Nolson in the backline. Of course, that newest addition to the Invincibles lineup, but can they get in? Yes, they can, but AIM at this point, it seems like a futile effort, doesn't it? AIM are 2 points away from victory.
Yeah, I mean, you can only give up 1 second when you need, about a casual about a 206 points now? Yeah, I mean, to say that it's winnable is a stretch of the margin. Super's going to be looking to finesse for some scrap time. You at least have Grad that is able to win that very crucial gunfight. Otherwise, the game would have been over. But Look at the rotation. You already have AIM Esports over there. Super couldn't break in for the scrap time, but damn well made sure that Invincibles were still spawning in across the map. Couldn't win the rotation over at AIM Esports with a definitive map #1 win. Did 100-point club Invincibles, but it's still pretty convincing.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not a surprise, really, is it? I don't mean that in any bad way against Invincibles. I just think this is how strong AIM are looking right now. They are a very good roster, as you say. We take a look at their map mode record right now, 4 hardpoint, 6-0 at the end of week #1. I think that makes them statistically the best hardpoint team in Europe. I'm going to guess that nobody else has that kind of record, so it should be interesting to show kind of how they look moving forward into that best of 5 versus the Invincibles roster. But moving elsewhere, we're going to go over towards Dizzy's Rascals and Katana Gaming. I think, you know, if we would describe something as the struggle bus game, this would probably be it. I mean, it's not like Katana Gaming have had the worst Season 4 in the world, but I think certainly that this is kind of what we've expected out of it.
Yeah, I mean, for Dizzy's Rascals, when you think about what they had to run in through Season 3, now you come in towards Season 4 with Mythics, you would think that it should pick up the pace of this roster just a little bit. But, I mean, for Katana Gaming, it's just one of those things, again, where, you know, you're looked at as that A team, right? You know, that team that was able to scrape by versus this Dizzy's Rascals team. You would almost feel like this has to be a must-win. You are 1-3, 3-3 overall for Hardpoint, and on Tuscan, you have not played it this season. You better come out with something to showcase for yourself. You need to make an argument right now, and well, that's a great wave of kills to actually come through for Dizzy's Rascals. That Michael Bay film of a 20-second opening 4P5 should be a definitive hold so far for Dizzy's Rascals here on the 5th and final hill of the first set.
Now, this is looking pretty good here for Dizzy's Rascals. They're about 6 points in the lead on this game. It's Katana Gaming, excuse me, going to be pushing in from the radio side. Jokkr looking to get on through, and previous KD somewhat of the overall stat lines here of Season 4, and the kills mostly going their way. That's not exactly going to help, though, as Jokkr with a friendly fire to take down Rokkr. So Dizzy's Rascals here still within a chance of looking to pick up this scrap time, and, well, they get it done. BB Connor with the AR to take down Jokkr, and even better here, I think, for Dizzy's Rascals. Not only do they come in for that 15 seconds of scrap time, but look at the mini-map. They're already set up for nuke.
Yep. Already winning rotation. I mean, it definitely helps out when one of your ARs is 17-8 for BB Connor. Good heavens, is he having himself a great map #1, 142, counting on up to against the 68 Katana Gaming. You would feel like they need to break this sooner rather than later, and it's a little bit isolated. I mean, everybody's trying to find isolating engagements inside of you over on the side of grass. Kez is playing. He's able to at least find 2, but it's going to be buying enough time for the reinforcements to come all the way through, and yeah, it sure will be. So Katana Gaming are still holding on to the favorite side of the map. They were able to break on towards 1, and they're holding the middle of the map for the time being.
Not a terrible position for Katana Gaming. Just about converting this one into time, and Dizzy now looking to come on through and do some damage to that lineup. He gets betrayed by BB Connor there for a moment, so breaking into the hill is but a promising prospect here for the Dizzy's Rascals roster, as they are now beaten away. But they do have one secret weapon sitting in the closet right now, and that's going to be Henry, who's managed to slip the net. He's all the way in the back and looking to cause some chaos. See whether or not he can activate himself, going full Ben 10 or not. Just sitting at the moment waiting for the rest of the team to join him. I tell you what, they managed to find the rooting from behind.
Yeah, and nobody from Katana is actually trying to fish out Henry from behind, so we'll finally get help back here for Dizzy. Finally, Keza is starting to clear away the back of the flank, and Keza does want to at least find 2, but not before the spawns have fully flipped, not before Dizzy's Rascals have fully entrenched themselves in towards the back, but they have not been able to actually touch the hardpoint for the time being, Brody. This has been a great stretch of about 60 points or so that Katana Gaming have been able to find themselves out that break-in towards 1, but holding with these culture spawns in towards the back, you feel like it's a war of attrition. All Dizzy's Rascals need to be able to do is find a couple of the kills, but they're still struggling to actually find the essential amount of kills, I should say, to be able to fully break inside the hardpoint. Finally, BB Connor finds at least 1, but still has the player top patio to worry about.
Even if this 20 seconds doesn't go their way, I'm still pretty happy with this. And to be fair, it could well do so. Rokkr looking for it. He's going to get faced down by a couple of players from Dizzy's Rascals. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the stretch of 2 hardpoints coming out from Katana Gaming. They were under threat from Henry there, and Henry isn't able to do anything other than flip the spawns. And although that's kind of what Dizzy's Rascals wanted, at the end of the day, it doesn't work out. Katana Gaming now only 30 points behind, and we look over towards the rotation. Once again, it is going to be Katana Gaming hitting this one first. This needs to be a hot and fast break coming in from Dizzy's Rascals. Got 1 inside fire. Fitz is there. 2 pushing up from the rooftop side. Footsy, how ready are you for this one? Dizzy and BB Connor right down lane. Rokkr able to get 1 inside the kill feed. And Katana Gaming here, they are holding very strong despite Dizzy's Rascals spawning close.
I mean, this has been about, like, what? About a 12 comparatively to about a 90-point differential since P1 has popped in the second set of rotations. Katana Gaming have absolutely come back to life. They're making this game with just an about stretch of 10, but this is Rascals again able to get those rooftop spawns. They'll be able to reinforce his hardpoint a lot sooner than Katana Gaming were. they're slowly trying to work their way through these narrow choke points. Ross J, jump challenge on the BB Connor and towards the back, did not have the saving graces of that half wall. Still battling over the scrap time. Keza will be able to win it, who has turned things around quite wonderfully for this Katana Gaming squad. I mean, there's been a lot of different sprees with Keza's name in that feed, 26 and 20 now. Taking the rotation over towards 4. Katana able to soak up the last bit of that scrap time, making this game just about dead even.
Yeah, Katana have stormed right back into this one. They were down by, what, 80 points when we went into the second set of rotations. Now, they look like they could take the lead, but right now it is Dizzy's Rascals doing exactly that. They've got players scattered about the hard point. They're ready for the siege to come on through, and, well, there it is. Keza, Futsi, and Jokkr all lose their ones. They should now spawn out over towards Vines, and for Dizzy's Rascals here, this is an opportunity to put some space between yourselves and Katana Gaming. Mythic's pushing up towards the middle of the map. Every single kill is going Dizzy's Rascals' way, and this really feels like they've put some stabilizers on the bike.
Yeah, man, they really have finally just put the brakes on any sort of heat that Katana Gaming have been coming into the second set of hard points with. But still battle going on inside of P4. Katana Gaming know that this is not time they can give up the Dizzy Rascals for free, but BB Connor comes back in, finds 2 more. That'll be the scrap time at least solidified. He's taking a look at the rotation down over towards 5. You already have Futsi that is down here. Not exactly the sexiest hardpoint game that they've had for themselves, but at least keeping Dizzy's Rascals at bay. They're getting themselves set up. You also have Jaka inside of radio, waiting for this hit to come all the way through. Keza's a little isolated from this play that's starting to happen. They need to watch that flank, so it's a lot of trust for these players inside of P5 to be able to find these kills, but they simply cannot. Dizzy's able to find at least 2. Ross J for the challenge needs to make it convert. They're at least able to find 1. The reinforcements are here for Dizzy's Rascals.
Yeah, the fight is far from over right now for Katana Gaming. You need to find a way in from that radio side, and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. All the heat is being thrown your way. Dizzy's Rascals looking to play on towards the hard point. Dizzy's now the namesake for this roster, facing down 3 from Katana. Starting to the backup is beginning to arrive right now. Both teams fighting tooth and nail for this hard point. Futsi now the last remaining player, and if you could take this time away, it would just be fine and dandy. But again, you're kind of facing this tough choice now, right? 15 seconds left on the clock. This is not time you can give away, but if you go too hard at this, you might lose the rotation.
Yeah, you can already see that Henry's fighting rotational gunfights in the middle of the map. This is, again, trust that Keza needs to go big. As they did in the second set, Dizzy challenges him over top of the tree box, so Dizzy Rascals win the rotation as Katana Gaming, as you were saying, went essentially all in for that scrap time of 5.
Now potentially Katana Gaming and the little pitch off. Ross J in from behind. He's already revealed his location with that kill against Henry. So now how much more can he do? He gets taken down. Dizzy's Rascals. Now you're just going to deal with this one-dimensional attack. But to be fair to Futsi and Jokkr, they come through. They give him something to worry about. The fight not over just yet. These guys going to have to start filtering one by one. Can Keza do anything from the other side? He is shut down. Now just Jokkr. He falls as well. And there's a shaky moment in the middle of that game where Katana Gaming looked like they might be able to take it away, but they failed to do so. Dizzy's Rascals, they stabilize and they win out in the end.
Yeah, and at least a big halting of the pressure, I would say, given the fact that Katana Gaming, specifically Keza, was having themselves a little bit of a turnaround of a hard point there, specifically looking at P5 going in towards P1 for the second set of rotations. I was sitting there and I was looking at Keza's route and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe you might be able to find 1 towards the back. He finds 2, and that flips out the spawns entirely for Dizzy's Rascals, still spawning in for 3, and they're able to put a sequence together of about 130 points or so, which is absolutely absurd considering how we hopped into that hard point. It really felt like the Dizzy's Rascals were playing with a certain amount of speed that Katana Gaming were not able to meet for themselves. But with all that said, I mean, they have themselves a great second set of hard points, but that leader's advantage, again, you just always feel like that's a storm cloud that is always being held over Katana Gaming's head, especially with that 80-point differential going in towards the second set, that it really just felt like that one break needed to come through. That 140 points comparatively to the 20 needed to come through for Dizzy's Rascals, and it sure did for them to be able to put that lead just a little bit too far out of reach for Katana.
And we should say as well, you know, just if you guys kind of an update of what things actually look like for Katana Gaming and Dizzy's Rascals at the moment. Katana are 1-3 right now in the overall standings, and Dizzy's Rascals have yet to win a series. They are 0-4, I believe. Up until that, they'd actually only won 1 map as well. So things were not looking good for both of those rosters. And I think, as far as I'm aware, when you go like 0-4, like as soon as you lose 4 series, like the season is effectively over for you. You are effectively at that point just waiting for a kind of a 3-way or a 4-way tie or something like that. And the way that the top 5 looks at the moment, I don't know if that's going to happen. So yeah, for Dizzy's Rascals, the season might well already be over, but for Katana Gaming, they still have a chance here. It's a small chance. It's a very, very slight chance, but one is still technically speaking there, especially as I believe previously they did manage to beat out Invincibles in what was one of the more surprising matchups of week number 1. Nonetheless, I believe our main matchup, our main focus matchup is ready to get underway here. Rokkr Academy versus Ultra Academy. We did promise this one a little bit earlier on. It's just taken a little while to get underway, but it's okay because now it's time. It's here. It's time for the present, folks. We're ready to go into the game. We're kicking things off with a POV of Sukri, ready to see what he can do. We've spoken a lot about his AR prowess, and now he needs to try and eliminate some of these players from afar, and, well, he gets shut down by Weeman.
Yeah, both these teams have a collective one time being played on a Tuscan Hardpoint throughout the entirety of Season 3. That would go over to Toronto Academy. They beat Team War on this map mode combination 250 to 147 just last week, so be looking for at least that reps. Doesn't mean that Rokkr Academy haven't been playing it so far, but the argument across P1, traditional 50-50, as you may like it, Ultra Academy able to at least walk away with an abundance of gunfights. We're able to soak up about 18 points worth of time. Rokkr Academy, though, quickly bringing themselves back in towards gunfights. Double-edged sword, right? You want to be able to win the scrap time, but you also have to essentially hit through the middle of the map and try to upset these P2 spawns. That will not occur. Rokkr Academy will have to soak up the scrap time and think, how can we break this P2 setup early?
Yeah, and we talk about the rotation coming through now from Furious, who is currently sitting over here waiting for some of these Rokkr Academy players to split on by. He's predicted successfully that Metals will make that push in from the bottom of maps. And, well, it does actually get punched in the face there by Sukri, but it's okay because the trade should be through now. But Rokkr Academy, they found another route in towards the hardpoint. Royale and Lucky looking to ruin Ultra Academy's day. Beans, what can you do about this one? Well, he's going to fly through, able to pick up one, but nonetheless, these Rokkr Academy players, they are dogmatic. They do not want to leave this hardpoint time for the Ultra side. And to be fair, why would you? But look at this. Wise to that pushing from behind. Weeman going to check them out, make sure they do not get past square one.
Man has been that guy for Ultra Academy EU throughout the entirety of Hardpoints, is sitting pretty at the top for their team. 1.23 overall KD with about a 61% true engagement success rate. Is averaging just about 3 kills per minute. It's just absurd for a main AR, the amount of pressure that Weeman's able to bring to the table. Rokkr Academy, again, just surviving on this hardpoint, just off of scrap time alone. We're finally able to break their way back in. We'll have that 1-point lead going in towards P3. Nice nade over the top from Lucky will at least clear away the backside of the half wall. That's where Fierce is located. And these are great entry kills coming through from Rokkr Academy. They just have to deal with Beans, who finds 2, has a good look at the 3rd, but Metals will finally find that trait. But it buys Ultra Academy enough time to be able to recontest this hardpoint.
And more importantly, it buys them space, right? Because now Ultra Academy can just force Rokkr Academy all the way back towards rooftops. As long as they manage to hold, that's kind of the conditional here for this roster. And now you've got Sukri on the back line looking to do some serious damage. Lucky starting to force the issue inside the hardpoint, but Vortex actually wins that one. Sukri gets shut down as well. And what looked like a promising moment there for Rokkr Academy is completely shut down. They're sent back to the spawn point, and now they need to rely on the set nades. And I kind of say that like I guess a sardonic thing, but actually, to be fair, it's a pretty good set nade that does come through, clears one of the players, the rest of the gunfights being won as well. And my goodness, this has been a super scrappy game so far, but it's what we've come to expect of 2 teams of this caliber.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Academy EU, they needed to make that scrappy. Rokkr Academy were threatening to break that hardpoint early. That Beans needed to go big, and those 2 kills actually ended up really insinuating just how scrappy that P3 hardpoint might end up being. And P4 is starting to set itself up to be just nothing short of the same. As Furious is already in from behind, Real needs to be able to find them. They do well to do so, but this is still setting up a pinch in towards the back. Lucky is trying to at least clear away the backside of the spawn, but this is all setting up Weeman to pinch from grass.
Now these kills starting to come through as well. Weeman's able to get his one. He does get shut down by Lucky. Real also able to win 1. So Rokkr Academy not done with this hard point just yet. You can see the gunfights going down. Real with 2 and Lucky looking to play his life. Now you really got to start to force the issue here if you're Rokkr Academy. Push your way out of the hard point, and Lucky does exactly that. Should be the call now that Vortex is coming in through grass, and you can see the apprehension in his gameplay at the moment. He knows he's the only player here that could potentially contest the scrap time, and he bides his time waiting for the gunfight, but it doesn't matter anyway. The trades are through from Beans. Nicely done for that one versus Real, and back and forth we go. There's currently about a 5-point cushion or so at the end of that hard point for Rokkr Academy. It's not a lot to work with, especially since Ultra, they are the ones into the next rotation.
Weeman just playing so far up on top of rooftops. Lucky's able to at least slip the net. That kept Rokkr Academy's numbers at least thwarted to be able to break inside P5 early, but the rotation is here so far. Steve was having himself a great game, number 1 here. 16-8. Unable to at least put together streaks, but why would you need it when your SMGs are just bringing the power that they are currently boasting at this current juncture of time? 30 seconds have already gone by here in P5, and Ultra Academy EU have not let Rokkr Academy all the way through, not quite yet. when you have players just zoning away the bottom side of P5 like what Vortex is doing. It really forces Rokkr Academy to try to deal with all these different corners, try to find where Vortex is playing at, but Stevo is also just finding himself isolated engagement after isolated engagement, finds kill number 5 in a row, and keeps Ultra Academy very much so alive in this 5th hardpoint.
And again, we talk about this rotation, and crucially, Ultra Academy, they have presence over here. It was, to be fair, only Beans, but Beans does enough damage there to hold it for a bit of time, and now Furious comes through with 2 of his own, and the backup is in as well as Beans comes off the spawn. Furious still has a fair bit to do here on this rotation towards P1, gets the kill versus Real. It's going to, unfortunately, get shut down by a teammate there from Ultra Academy, but again, the door has been opened here by the teamwork of Ultra Academy EU, and that is what has been fascinating about their hardpoint game in the last few weeks and months. It has been proved vastly, and you're seeing it right there as now this Ultra side, they're in a stellar position. They're on the better side of the map, they're in control of P1, and they're starting to open this game.
Yeah, I mean, just look at all the zoning that's constantly coming through. They lose one player, and then they get a little bit more apprehensive. Like what you saw from Vortex going back over towards P4. Everybody just stalls up and just waits for that last player to come back through and pick up at least that one angle that's not being looked at. And they're keeping Rokkr Academy at bay here. Just making sure the line of scrimmage does not get pushed up too far forward, so that way spawns don't flip. And at least one avenue does not get at least sought out. But one avenue is at least being brute force. Real through the middle of the map is at least able to bring themselves back through you. That'll actually force a little bit of spawn out to actually occur, because you did have one player previously for Ultra Academy EU inside of P5. But that'll allow Rokkr Academy to be able to slip all the way back, able to get those back column spawns. They'll be in for the initial time over by P2, but that doesn't mean Ultra Academy are not knocking at the door already with some nades.
Now, I would describe this as a singularity here in the game, the point of no return. Rokkr Academy cannot afford to lose a ton of time off the back of this hard point, otherwise this game will be blown wide open. Ultra Academy EU, they probably know that fact, and they're going to push for the hard point. Furious able to pick up the opening blood. Wee Man starting to force the issue on towards Patio as well, and there's the kill versus Sukri, and this is what you were scared of, right? 25 seconds left on the hard point. Rokkr Academy starting to spawn towards the back. Wee Man with the God nade onto 2, and this is a very scary moment in the game. Ultra are ahead by a large margin, and they did have the control of the rotation, but crucially, Metals just won that 1v1.
Yeah, that was a big one that happened off screen there. Metals 13 and 22, not the greatest KD ratio to look at for Metals as an SMG AR flex, but that one gunfight will be able to win the rotation over towards 3, at least for the time being. But to say that you need an indomitable hold, you need about a full 45, 50. You cannot afford to get broken here if you're Rokkr Academy. Metals needs to go big over by the rooftops, finds another 2. Has one more. The stun is there. Metals is able to find all 3 players in the rotation, finds themselves on a 4 spree. Just came down to the players in the middle of the map to cut down the rotation from Ultra Academy EU, and Rokkr have done a great job at keeping them at bay for the initial 20.
Good opportunity here to get back into towards this game. Of course, there is the streak to talk of as well for the Ultra Academy side. Does Wee Man want to use that at some point, especially as Rokkr Academy continue to slay out here in this hard point? Ultra Academy being sent at square one time and time again. And with 20 seconds left here, you start to ask the question, well, how many more resources do we actually want to pour into this one? As Beans and Wee Man do pick up a couple of kills, you might say maybe a few more. Just 12 seconds left to get, but this has been a highly successful hardpoint here for Rokkr Academy. Ultra going to be able to come in for the scrap time, but that's not a terrible thing, especially as now Rokkr Academy, they're going to be the ones in for the new hardpoint. Now Beans, can he do anything around the backline here? Crucial gunfight to win versus Sukri, but Sukri spotted him out. Has he spotted out the second one, though? Does he have an inkling that Wee Man is still around, or at least somebody could still be on that heady? And no, he doesn't. Wee Man able to take him down. The door might have opened now. Can Ultra Academy find their way through? Vortex into the side. Does get shut down, and Metals with 3 is a hold.
Yeah, it's a hold for the time being in Rokkr Academy. I mean, that was a very scary setup when you're thinking about it. You had one player watching away to the back. You had one player top radio trying to watch the push to the middle of the map. Both those players die, so now the 2 players inside the hardpoint need to go big, and boy, how did he did that, because it had at least bought enough time to be able to read where the last few players for Ultra Academy were trying to bring themselves back in from. Again, was that lawn attempt that was coming through. It gets thwarted. Rokkr Academy have put together about a sequence of about 90 points or so over the past 2 hardpoints. Ultra Academy EU, much like at the end of P3, were able to break back in from scrap, but Rokkr are okay with that. Yes, they're spawning out, but Real inside of P5 for the time being just needs to be able to find one. Needs to buy some time for their teammates to come back through. Starting to run out of bullets inside the gun. Furious knows that. Goes for the challenge. Now Metals needs to pick up where they left off.
And it's going to be Ultra once again touching first here on this hard point. How much time can they get away before the Rokkr side are able to find their way through? Lucky trying to apply some pressure from the radio side. Has to be wary of the fact that Stevo here is to his left as well. And Real should deal with that gunfight, and they do. And now it's Sukri in from behind, though. It's Rokkr Academy here who were able to blast their way through. They give away about 20 seconds or so towards the Ultra side, but that is all they're going to get momentarily. Now the fights will continue here as Ultra. They blast their way back on through. Vortex and Furious with a couple. And now Ultra, this is a ton of time for them to get off this hard.
It really is. And Rokkr Academy, they should be more than aware of this, as well as that Stevo is also just zoning them away inside of Fire. Sukri is able to at least find that kill, but there's no entry point. You finally have Lucky trying to zone away the bottom side of P5. Finally, it comes through. They're able to break back in as Lucky finds a crucial 3. That'll be the battle over the back 8 seconds, but where Rokkr Academy were okay with losing the scrap time to Ultra Academy in the past few hard points. The same could be said about Ultra going in towards this third and final set of hard points, but Rokkr Academy, they look towards the future. Not only do they send 2 players to battle over scrap time, they also send 2 players to win the rotation over towards 1, and they were going to be able to find themselves an abundance of kills. Sukri with 2, but the Wee Man does end up calling in that glide bomb, does find 1, but it's not enough pressure to break in quite yet.
Well, the kills are being followed up as well, so Metals needs to play his life. He does get shut down. Rokkr Academy will now spawn up over towards Fine side. And you got to imagine at this point in the game, Ultra, they only need to wipe once or twice more, and they will lock up map number 1. I think they might have done it. Can anybody filter through? Metals and Real will win some gunfights here. Now it is all on the former, who does get shut down. The last couple of points come through there, and well, I think Wee Man's streak was the first domino to fall, right? A couple more kills to follow that one up, but it's a wipe there towards the end. Ultra, they are going to win map number 1. And honestly, Andy, I got to say, I feel like the rotation from P5 to P1, that felt like a really damaging moment in the game there for Rokkr Academy.
I would agree, but I would also just put it that much further to say that it was just all the P5s. So really, through both the sets that we saw P5 come through, Rokkr Academy just simply could not sustain on that hard point continuously. It felt like the Ultra Academy EU were putting together with the 2 P5s that we saw would be like a collective 90 points or so, which is just crazy when you're thinking about what P5 does bring to the table. Lots of nades can come through, lots of different opportunities to be able to come to the bottom side of P5, to be able to work your way in through patio or over by rooftops. All these different points of interest to be able to break inside P5, and Rokkr Academy just simply could not find themselves numbers advantage to be able to get inside P5. And the reason being is because you always had players for Ultra Academy EU zoning away the bottom side of well, always making sure that you have one player watching that cross. It was from rooftops over by patio, inside of patio over by rooftops. Most importantly, that one SMG player always zoning away the middle of the map, rotating off the spawn, clear away the middle of the map, get in the bottom side of P5. Every single time the Rokkr Academy felt like that they had numbers to be able to get themselves inside of P5, they were taking more focus to be able to break past the doorways on the upper level. But an SMG always came through, whether it was Vortex or Furious, to be able to find those 2 kills, 3 kills sometimes required to be able to get themselves those 40 points or so off of P5. It felt like Ultra Academy EU were always in that, always able to find those kills required to be able to keep Rokkr Academy at bay. But you also have to go back to that point when you were asking, is Wee Man going to use that streak for P3? That's why you keep a veteran on your team. That's what makes this Ultra EU squad just so deadly, because they recognize, look, we got about an 80-point lead. If they walk away with about 40 points off of P3, we're still sitting pretty with about a 20-point lead or so. Let's make sure we hold that streak for when it's at the utmost right time to be able to use that to break in for some crucial time. That P1 break, it was the right time to utilize that streak. You're winning all the gunfights continuously. Just make sure that you hold that streak as an ace up your sleeve to be able to win out the game.
Yeah, indeed. It was a good call to hold back on the streak, and a good call there, I think, from Ultra to win the game. Yeah, brilliantly done from them. They're able to take map number, just win the game. Yeah, forehead, come on. Yeah, brilliant win for them in game number 1. Rokkr Academy fall behind in the series. Again, a hard point that's always been very important. Every time these two teams have dueled, it has always been kind of, how does the first hard point go in the best of 5, of course, because Rokkr Academy, we talked a couple of seasons ago, they were one of the most potent hard point teams in Europe. And of course, now I don't know if that still is the case, honestly. Most certainly, though, they had a struggle bus there versus that Toronto side. Moving forward in the series then, Picard's Search and Destroy is up next. And again, we talk about Search and Destroy between these two teams. I honestly would say, and I think we both probably agree on these grounds, that Rokkr Academy, the Search and Destroy of this roster, has not looked as hot as it did prior to the roster change. They've had a lot of time to fix it, and it looks better in week 1. I think that was the biggest takeaway for me from week number 1, is that Rokkr Academy at least do look a little bit better than they did in season 3 now with Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and it was this map specifically. I mean, say what you will, with the 6-0 win over Katana, maybe it was a little bit of a difference as far as skill is concerned. But I mean, Rokkr Academy looked absolutely amazing when it came down to their decision making, their rollouts, their set nades, everything else in between, which is absolutely lights out when it came down to Rokkr Academy's execution to search and destroy. You know, their losses that they do have, that 3-6 loss on that map number 2 versus versus that team war on Tuscan is something that I'm sure they're or that map 5 loss, excuse me, to Tuscan, but also winning the 6-2 in that same series versus Team War. They had a round 11 loss versus AIM Esports on Desert Siege as well, and a 3-6 loss to Invincibles. Those are not bad search and destroy losses, given that Invincibles search and destroy is their bread and butter as far as the game mode is concerned. We always know that AIM Esports versus Rokkr Academy are always going to be pretty darn close when it comes down to search and destroys. Losing around 11 on a map that is Desert Siege to that AIM Esports is nothing to scoff at. But the one point still remains that this Minnesota Rokkr Academy roster needs to be able to come back into at least a shade of their past self to be able to be very strong for search and destroy when they were still playing with Journey. Those first bloods need to be there
Yeah.
continuously. If Real's not going to be able to find them, it was always Journey that was able to fish them out continuously back in season 1 and 2 of the Elite. Someone needs to be able to step up towards that role. If not for them, then one of the ARs just need to be able to find that early damage to be able to get the SMGs at least some leg room to be able to get up close in towards a lot of these bomb sites, if not pressure points, when you're looking at offensive, defensive. Like that disjointment back to season 3 seemingly is starting to subside now for Rokkr Academy. You just hope that it's a consistency going forward, because this Ultra Academy EU squad, although being 2-2 for Search and Destroy, Brody, are nothing to sleep at when it comes down to the pressure that they can bring into this game mode.
That's the key thing, isn't it? You talk about kind of, I guess, pedigree for, that's the word I'm looking for. Pedigree for this Ultra Academy EU roster and what they have on side for the Search and Destroy. And again, I know that Rokkr Academy fans, the community is very much active for that team. I'll probably be like, Bray, why are you hyping up Ultra and not our team? Well, let me just clarify here. This Ultra team, they're pretty good at Search and Destroy. I think, the Search and Destroy has improved massively, and that was one of the biggest criticisms we had at the very beginning of this season when they were the money form roster. It was like, Jesus, their Search and Destroy is terrible. And now it's just so much better. They've improved in massively in the last couple of seasons, obviously. And, you talk about the reasons why. Again, Vortex is one of the Search and Destroy masterminds. At least that's kind of the appearance he gives off over the last few seasons that you and I have got to cast over him. You added Furious to the roster in season 2 as well. And Josh, of course, and the coaching staff. There's just so much that this team has that they've improved their Search and Destroy a lot. So I think it's definitely going to be a threat here for this Rokkr Academy side. But as we said, Rokkr Academy, their Search and Destroy has improved massively as well since season 3. At least what we saw in the first week of season 4. So maybe they can win out here. I suppose the other thing we can say is as well, maybe you could argue the matches that Ultra EU did lose in week 1 versus AIM and the Wobbabobs team. Both Search and Destroys were lost there 6-2 to AIM as well. So pretty big losses, I would say, in those matchups. Maybe that's something that Rokkr Academy can look to. But regardless, I believe the Search and Destroy is ready to get underway. Enough of Andy and I rambling here into the bocage. That's the last time I'm ever saying that. We go here for this one. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. But regardless, bocage is how we actually say it here. And of course, as always, no mini-map guys at home. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens as, well, I kind of predicted this in a way. I think we kind of felt like things would slow up to kick things off.
That loss AIM Esports was on this Mammo combination of Bocage, Search, and Destroy. And a lot of the reason was because Ultra Academy EU, they were losing a lot of the first blood engagements. And, well, there's another one. Beans gets caught with a nade out. Real instigates that first blood. Numbers advantage in favor of the offense.
Real still looking for some more kills here. Hasn't found anybody just yet, but it's just, again, it's the mind games, right? Vortex starting to gain ground, though. It's the last thing that Rokkr Academy will expect. Steve-O in position. Found anything just yet. Elsewhere, Wee Man's going to even the odds, but does get shut down in a trade from Sukri. And now Real has spotted out Furious as well. The hunt is on, and Real's going to have him for dinner. As now it is just Steve-O 1v3. He gets shut down. Rokkr Academy kick things off with a party hit.
It's that first blood again. Real just getting way too much ground inside of Grandma's for free. And albeit it was a very passive setup when you're looking at for Ultra Academy EU. Again, they were losing a lot of the first blood engagements to AIM Esports and Wobbabobs in those 2 Search and Destroy losses that they did face for themselves. And rightfully so. You want to see how Rokkr Academy are going to kind of knock at the door when it came out of their offensive capabilities, but you give Real that much ground inside of Grandma's for free. They're just waiting for Metals to push up through that tank formation, wait for the cover to the middle of the map, and they will find that first blood. And then it's all just trade games, and Rokkr Academy are able to win the opening round.
Getting an eye on Steve-O here. Is going to be lucky inside Grandma's, but he's sent back to the knitting closet. Can't get a kill just yet. Things calming down once again here. The information for Rokkr Academy is enough to satiate their tastes for the moment. Waiting for something to happen.
Nade gonna land on the back. His metal's getting hit by this. Nah, clears away the water wheel. So, I mean, you could literally hear a pin drop in this map, but it's just covered by nades. Fury's going to get damaged up, and that's going to force him to reposition. But again, it's Real. These late first bloods are paying dividends to be able to get these numbers advantage.
I just got flashbacks there as Real gets the posthumous nade on towards Weeman. Or Weeman, excuse me. And Real was about to go off, but he doesn't really need to in the end, even though he does get shut down. It is, once again, a 1v3 on the cards here for Ultra Academy, and I think the cards are really reading in Beans' favor as he gets caught out with my lucky Rokkr Academy. Again, it's those nasty first bloods from Real, just so potent.
It's just very passive again for Ultra Academy EU. They don't find much of anything with stuns and nades, and if they did, it completely goes uncapitalized on. And then they just post up inside of the alleyway, on top, on patio, inside of the stables. This is all off the information that Lucky was able to find off of a power position top attic. That if nobody's pushing Sukri over by that river bend, then yeah, you have nothing to worry about. You can just wait for the engagements to come to you. Real just again activates himself in the middle of the map, finds himself his own trade.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But the trade is through at least. Now 3v3 we go. Vortex is pushing very far up here. Wants to get a taste of the Rokkr pie. Unfortunately, size is bigger than his stomach there as he does get shut down. But again, these trades actually pretty good here from the Ultra side. Beans, though, is caught out. And now it's Weeman in for the clutch situation. 1v2 here. This is much more possible than what we saw for Ultra the last couple of rounds. And the bomb hasn't been planted yet. Weeman has quite a lot of ground to gain, though.
Yeah, but you can see even through the X-ray, Rokkr Academy, they have no idea where Weeman's at, so he might just be able to find the time to get behind this play entirely. He's going to get up top barn. He's going to clear the rooftop. He doesn't see them barely. He's going to poke through, and yeah, that'll be the last kill required. And again, although the first blood does come through, and definitely got to tip it to the Ultra Academy camp to finally call, hey, let's get aggressive here, rather than just try to wait for the gunfights to come to them. And it comes up at least for that first blood, but the trades have just been so good for Rokkr Academy through these 3 rounds worth of play so far. And Sukri breaks out a submachine gun of all things to cover the middle of the map to help out their comrades. Finds themselves on 6 in a row through 3 rounds worth of play. 1 kill away from that glide bomb. Ultra Academy EU just struggling to be able to get any sort of semblance of numbers.
I don't even think they're doing anything that wrong. You know, I think fundamentally speaking, Ultra are sound at the moment. It's just they're getting caught out. Even in that round, though, you know, there was the trade off the first blood. It's tough. It's tough for Ultra Academy at the moment. But as you say, Rokkr Academy, 1 Sukri frag away from a glide bomb, and that might be a game-ending state of play. Wait for these first bloods to go down, and there we go. Lucky's going to be the one to draw it this time. Is there a trade to come through? Well, no. There's another kill, though, for Rokkr Academy. Real's going to be the one to draw it.
Furious sure try to be able to chase that. But again, it's just the tradable positions that Rokkr Academy are continuously playing. They're fundamentally sound, as you were talking about. They know where at least one player is, all the way in the backside. Sukri is not giving up his angle. Beans needs to try to make something happen because Weeman is on the opposite side of the map. And while Weeman goes down, Beans tries to poke through the middle of the map, maybe try to find at least one player trying to rotate all the way through. Rokkr Academy 4 rounds in, all in their favor. Sukri gets that 7th kill required. They got themselves a glide bomb, so the lay of the land is truly theirs to be able to maybe try to get themselves that 5th round, be able to get that first blood, some information off the glide bomb, use it as a post-plant situation. And why wouldn't you use it as far as the ladder is concerned? Because Ultra Academy EU are not taking away any ground from you whatsoever. And even when they're trying to do so, they can find some early damage, they can find some trades, or they can find some trade damage at that. Rokkr Academy are just that much better at just flipping the net, keeping themselves alive, and putting themselves in a better position to be able to find these trades.
Sukri?
Yeah, it's an angle.
That's an angle?
That's an angle.
That's an acute angle.
Yeah.
It's
definitely something.
He's wrong for that. Is that the first time you've seen it? Am I just being obtuse?
It might be. It's obviously the first time you've seen it. I don't know.
Is that the first time you've seen it? That's what I'm asking.
No.
No? Okay.
I've seen it. Okay. I've used it before.
But you have. Cheeky. Anyway, regardless, Ultra looking for something, and well, they will find it. Beans with the long-range shots on towards Sukri will take him down, and for the first time here in the Search and Destroy, first blood goes the way of Ultra. Is there a trade, though? That's the problem. Furious under threat, but it doesn't matter. Vortex is there to cover his friend. Now for Real and Lucky, the first bit of a resistance they've found in this game. Can find the... There's no way. There's no way. Okay, I was going to say, he runs right into Beans. He's going to get the first kill, though. Trying to play patiently, but the kill we've through, and that will send this Ultra roster into a bit of a panic momentarily. Wee Man is there to trade, and now the 1v3 here for Lucky. Can he catch these players off guard? Gets the first.
A 4 AR rollout on Bocage Search and Destroy? I think it was. It had to have been because Metals was going for wallbang shots top grandmas. You can't do that. MP40 is great, but you ain't doing that. A 4 AR rollout. Rokkr Academy. And immediately what they were trying to find is at least coverage through that tank formation, which is why you saw Sukri go for that very nerdy angle across the tank formation, but Beans had the angle on it. Was able to shut that down. A crucial round, though. Everything going forward, you would feel like it would be for Ultra Academy U. And without a submachine gun for Real to push through inside of Grandma's, obviously need to be able to clear away the ground as easily as possible with an AR. And it's not so easy to do. Finally, Ultra Academy U put themselves on the board.
Yeah, no, we can see in the picture-in-picture here, by the way. Quick shout-out to Invincibles. After what was a dreadful map number 1 for them, they seem to have stormed back into the series. Now, winning out the control versus AIM, and of course the search and destroy part of that one as well. So they're now 2-1 up. Scary moment here for AIM Esports and the quest for playoffs qualification. We'll keep you guys updated on what's happening on that one. But back to this affair. It's Ultra Academy who, well, once again, they're back to their old ways. They're losing out the first bloods. Wee Man and Beans now in for the 2 versus 4, and now it is just the latter. Beans needs more. Get your Heinz brands out of the way, as Beans has got quite a lot to do here.
Quite a lot to do, and not all the time, and the grace is to be able to do it. I mean, he has to be able to plant this bomb, extend the round, find some kills. God Lord, you name it. Beans has an uphill battle in front of them. Has been great all year long for this Ultra Academy EU squad, but I mean, there's just no reason to throw anything. You check one of these bombs at the right time for Rokkr Academy, nobody's on it. And you just have to be able to buy proxy. Just, what don't we have cleared place? Well, that's top attic. Beans is right there, just going to poke out from the backside. And again, it's these first bloods that continuously come through for Rokkr Academy. And when the first blood comes through, you would assume immediately. I mean, we've all been there, rank play. You're screaming at your friends to scream for the trade. And to be fair, Ultra Academy U, they're trying to find these trades, but there's no play that goes unnoticed for Rokkr Academy for that first blood that isn't Overwatch either by a second submachine gun or an AR. They have been methodical, to say the least, and Ultra Academy U are playing into their hand continuously.
Yep, it's these first bloods. I know it sounds really simplistic, but it's just where Ultra have struggled in this S&D so far, but there's still a path back into this game. And ironically enough, it probably starts with a first blood. Will they get it, though? That's the question. Will they given it? No, they won't. Furious gonna be taking out the round immediately, and well, the danger zone is where they're entering in this one.
Oh, here comes the glide bomb from Sukri in towards the back. Wee Man was already throwing shots. It finds 2. GG's. Loaded into the control. Steve-O's top grandmas is already throwing a couple shots. You have to assume with that window being open and back closed, Rokkr Academy know exactly where he's located at, forcing Vortex to make the play. Good luck. Finds 1.
It's the first. The escape room has been escaped as well. So this is still possible for Vortex. What a monumental moment it would be, by the way, especially in a round where the glide bomb has been utilized. But again, I feel like we're talking about hypotheticals at the moment, and Vortex has to make this real. And who gets the first? Always gets real. There's a universe. There's a multiverse, okay? It exists. And there's a branch timeline somewhere where that kill versus Real comes through. And you just get to start a little bit shaky if you're Rokkr Academy. But it's okay. They get it done. That glide bomb, devastating. In round number 7. Rokkr Academy, though, how about that for a search and destroy team? We talked about it, right? Their search and destroy had quite blatantly improved from what we saw in week number 1. And, well, we see it to effect there in week number 2, beating out one of the teams that we've said are very strong in search and destroy over the last couple of seasons.
I think a lot could be walked away from this. You know, you go back, and a lot of people were saying that 6-0 search and destroy win against Katana Gaming for Rokkr was a little bit of a fluke, given the skill differential between those teams. But I think that solidifies it, that if you're facing Rokkr Academy, this Bocage Search and Destroy might just have to be a hard veto, because the way that they are methodically playing it throughout the entirety of the map, all of the pressure, all of the information that they're able to get continuously, being able to not only find those first bloods, but enforce the numbers advantage that they're continuously having. I mean, there wasn't a single T that wasn't crossed. There was a single I that wasn't dotted for Rokkr Academy continuously throughout the entirety of those 7 rounds of play. And even more so than that, again, Ultra Academy U, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were trying to find those trades. It's just what Rokkr Academy did. that much better of making just the simplicities of search and destroy come to be as you take a look at some of these stats, and they will be quite telling as far as that first blood category is concerned.
Yep.
2 out of the 7 rounds that were played, Ultra Academy were able to find those first bloods, but the trades were always there for Rokkr Academy. Again, I hate to make this sound as simplistic as it is, but every single time the Rokkr Academy were trying to fish out these first blood engagements, there was always that second player to worry about, whether it was a long range line of sight being held by Sukri or Lucky, hell, even Metals, because we did see Rokkr Academy roll out with 3 AR, sometimes even that 4th AR rollout. That they ended up losing that round continuously, but they were always in tradable positions that if that one player went down, the trade was always there. If that player was able to find that that first blood, then that player was being overwatched for that trade that was trying to be found for Ultra Academy was always there. I mean, it's just absurd to always talk about just that one column in particular, and that's the assist column. Lucky has 4 assists with about 1,000 damage, win 5 and 4, but that's how much damage per round Lucky was finding for a lot of these other players to be able to instigate that first blood, to be able to instigate that trade. And those 2 players were named Real and Sukri.
Yep, it's tough there, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talk about kind of those first bloods and just the difference between the two. You know, when we're talking about the first bloods for Ultra Academy, you know, they were first bloods and they were fleeting first bloods at that. You know, I think that the effectiveness of them were pretty much wiped away immediately since Rokkr Academy managed to get the trade through, and it was just very rare to see those trades coming through from Ultra Academy. And you know, that means that Rokkr Academy able to tie this one up now, 1-1 in this best of 5. Again, you know, I don't want to say this is going to go to game 5 because we simply don't know how far in the series we will go. I know you're laughing. I can see you, Andy. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm not even
Already hinted at it. Well, you might as well say
it's not a hint, right? I'm not a video game manual. I'm not hinting anything. But you know, I'm just saying that I think these two teams, they're very evenly matched the way that they're playing at the moment, and I do expect this to be a long one. To be fair, unless something changes in the meantime. Nonetheless, though, I think we should kind of talk big picture for a second here, right? Before we get into the control, that one is going to be a Tuscan, by the way, because again, we talked about the importance of this match going on right now, but elsewhere, what we just saw was AIM. Currently 2-1 down to Invincibles in what is going to be an upset if AIM lose it, right? Because again, you know, we've got this overarching story at the moment, the arc here of week number 2, which is that you have 5 teams fighting out for qualifications. Invincibles technically still in the conversation. They just have a massive uphill battle, but to win the first battle of a very long war would be quite something, and especially damaging to AIM.
I mean, Stride's in the right direction if you're looking at this from Invincible. Stride's in the very wrong direction if you're looking at this from AIM Esports. Again, walking away from Season 3 Challengers Elite, not exactly the placing that they wanted, and same thing could be said about Toronto, but they are currently 2nd overall as far as standings are concerned. Invincibles really have a great shot to be able to close it out, especially on this map mode combination that is Gavutu Hardpoint. Historically, has not been played for AIM Esports. Historically, has been a thorn in the side for them, I would say that much. Always started off very slow, never able to actually close out Gavutu Hardpoints. But you take a look at this rotation from 3 to 4, it is currently being held by Invincibles. But you also have Super that is trying to play for some streaks, currently on 5 in the row, trying to at least be the first player to knock at the door for P4, but did not have any help from SMG presence. So that streak will be shut down. Invincibles able to hold for the initial 20.
Now, somewhat concerned for this AIM Esports site initially, but now as we look over towards the rotation, maybe they do have a chance, but it is Invincibles in, as you say. Now they're looking to really put their dent in towards this game. They're about to cross that 100-point mark, and with 30 seconds left here for AIM, you start to make that decision of, hey, how much do we actually want to put into this one? Because if we go too heavy, we could end up spawning towards the back of beach, and that would be just a disastrous moment. And that's why they're playing this one super passively. Look at the minimap right now. They're just holding back, making sure that nobody from Invincibles crosses, or nobody from Invincibles, excuse me, crosses that 50-yard line. Maybe they'll take a punt at scrap time, but you can absolutely tell at the moment here, Andy, for AIM, this is just about securing that rotation.
They just want to make sure they're still spawning in the back of 4, right? But, I mean, you push a little bit too far forward.
God.
You're actually going to allow Invincibles to spawn in 4-3. Nobody, especially Super, was watching the backside. He's probably still unaware of this because they didn't see anybody spawn on the backside of 4, so he'll lose that gunfight going in towards 5. You also have players such as Nile watching that first cut. Eric needs to go big, does well to find that first kill. Will not break in towards the spawns. It needs to hold their position for their comrades to break back across the map, finds one more inside green. For the time being, the kills will be in the favor for AIM Esports. That could have been disastrous had they not mitigated at least that back pressure that they had allowed Invincibles to get those spawns for.
I mean, yeah, they're now back in the hard point, but I'd still say that was disastrous. You expect to get the full 60 off this hard point. Yeah, it's just, given those Invincibles, those spawns, not a good moment, not a good look from the AIM Esports lineup. But nonetheless, here, Invincibles, they were breaking for the last 15 to 20 seconds of time and really cement themselves a massive lead here in this game. They need a much better look at things on the second set of rotations. Maybe they will get it, but Rafi wants to say something about it. Previously, the top performing player on this Invincibles lineup, able to pick up Eric Boom. And now Invincibles starting to put up a pinch in from behind as well. Yako just sitting patiently currently inside the middle of the anti-air gun, but the rest of his teammates, the bodyguards, if you will, looking to win up all those gunfights. Nelson starting to apply some pressure on the hard point as well from the outside. Assistance Rafi in close proximity, and here comes those gunfights. Rafi able to pick up 2 Invincibles. Even if they don't get in, they are disrupting what could have been a great hold from AIM.
A lot of things to be talked about going in towards the second set of hardpoints that AIM Esports. I mean, they are still flawless, technically speaking, when it comes down to hardpoint, but Invincibles might just be able to take this series off them entirely, and it's really, you look at Rafi, 19 and 12 for them. Off that 3-1 win in the control, Brody, he went massive, 33 and 16 overall with about 3,800 damage through 4 rounds worth of play on a Kavutu control. And it's looking to be just about the same thing going forward. I mean, you're forced to fight for scrap if you are AIM Esports at this current point in time. You're still down horrendously by about 76 points, and you have to win the rotation going over towards 2. You don't win it cleanly, but at least you get the scrap time, and you have super zoning away the middle of the map.
Moment here for AIM to find their way back in towards this game. This has to be a good rotation. Eric Boom and Journey open up things positively with the first gunfight. Super looking for some more as well. Nolson still inside green, and well, Nolson going to win that 1v1, but again, there's more players that are pushed up here for the AIM side. Yako, one of those players, now looking to cause some serious problems. He gets shut down by Nolson, and now they and Rafi can cause some problems, and they do. Nolson follows up with yet another one, and it's the disruption for AIM. You're starting to panic at the moment. You've got 30 seconds left on the hill. You're not on the right side of the map, and you're bleeding time to Invincible.
And you're forced to try to play for this very long rotation. I mean, you look at Yako go on the minimap, is trying to find themselves through that second cut. It's not going to throw any shots. I don't believe he did. So he's still back here, just uncontested for the time being. Eric Boom finds 2 in the front, but it's still time that Invincibles are soaking up. Finally, it will be contested, but not before Invincibles put themselves at 199 points. AIM Esports still down by 70 points, and that route pays dividends. Yako was able to find 1, gets Eric to actually come join them across that ringside. Now it's Invincibles on the unfavored side of the map, and Eric, to say that AIM Esports need to turn this into an indomitable hold is putting it lightly.
Yeah, this is the gambit, right, for AIM Esports. You've made that long gamble for the rotation. Now it needs to work out. You need to hold here for the full 60 to bring your way back in towards this game. And if you can garner streaks in the process, well, that'll be just fine and dandy, won't it? But you have to be cautious of the fact that players might be coming on the flank. Nile has been spotted out by Journey and will be sufficiently dealt with. And now towards the front, you really have to turn your attention, because one player from Invincibles has scattered his way in towards the hard point. That's 5 seconds or so of time that AIM aren't getting. It's just an annoyance you have to deal with. But for Invincibles here, now I think the objective becomes a lot clearer. If you can find your way into the scrap time, great, but make sure these guys do not pass the 50-yard line, excuse me, and they might well have done it here. Look at Yako. He is flying towards the rotation. Somebody from Invincibles has to shut him down, and they do.
Yeah, Yako running to at least run that route yet again, even pop that silence to make sure that they can make it unscathed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that second cut's going to be looked at. So now all players for AIM Esports need to fly. Yako's being zoned away top LSC, but that means that Invincible's defense across the beachfront is not that strong. So these players in towards the back need to go big, and the players actually spawn in 4-4. So now it's a hold from the front that Invincibles are looking at.
It's not a bad position to be in, is it, for Invincibles? If these guys, you know exactly where they're going to spawn. Now you just need to hold them there. Can they get it done? Super looking to play his life. He gets shut down. Next up to back here is going to be Eric Boom, who's able to pick up 2. And AIM Esports, despite feeling the heat, they are not able... They do not fall to it. Excuse me. Now AIM Esports going to be in, but Invincibles never far away from the action. They're spawning close towards the hard point, and now they're starting to get in towards the front. They cannot finish it here. That is the one positive for AIM, but you look at these back spawns, and Andy, we've seen this situation time and time again. It is a worrying one.
It really is. And look at Rafi also on the minimap, proactively making sure that that beachfront does not get pushed this time around, because AIM Esports, the 3 and also breaking in towards 4, was Yako zoning their way through the beachfront, able to break in towards these spawns. It's being zoned away. And you also have Nile inside of the cliff path, finding themselves 2 kills, making sure that AIM Esports do not escape for free.
Invincibles, they just need one good hold here. Can they get it done? Journey gets shut down now. Can you hold them off here at the boat? Yakko has been flying through this game. Not quite flying just yet, but looking to get towards that point of progression. And will remove Invincibles from the hard point. 24 seconds shy of a shock victory here in Challengers Elite Season 4. It will be AIM Esports inside the hard point, but they still need to hold. Yakko, how much damage can you do? You've been spotted out, but now you need to come and help your teammates in the action. And he's going to pick up one. Still a 1v1 on the hard point, though. And Grad's able to pick up two. So Invincibles here can still get this done. Now no longer the case. We will absolutely be seeing a rotation over towards P1, and the players from Invincibles already there.
Yeah, you already have two players over there. It's Nolson Rafi trying to zone away concrete stairs. You have one player trying to threaten it's Journey. He can't find much of anything at all. Whereas the assistants, you finally have Super trying to help out through concrete stairs. It's Rafi again who finds two. The rotation has been won. 14 more points for Invincibles to take the series.
And you got players pushed up as well. Grad starting to pressurize these players over towards the boat. And he does fall, but for AIM, you don't have much of a margin of error. You need to go, and you need to go right now. Journey gets shut down. Can anybody else here survive and do some damage to the defense of Invincibles? Just 3 points shy of victory, and only one player to hold on. It's Super, loses his grip, and Invincibles, with what is, I would say, probably the third shock victory here for Challengers Elite Season 4. They are shaking things up as AIM. They lose. And that really does have a ton of implications for what Season 4 now looks like here in Europe.
Yes, it does. I mean, because Invincibles, I mean, what a massive head-to-head to find for themselves if they had to try to argue to make it as far as the top 4 team. I mean, they still have to get through Ultra Academy EU, plus Team War is their last matchup. But, I mean, to have at least one head-to-head versus all of them, that is definitely something big. They can obviously make a run going forward. And they also hand AIM Esports their first hardpoint loss of Season 4 of the Elite. But going back towards our main focus, Rokkr Academy obviously able to take away that opening assault. Won't be able to say the same about the second one, as Ultra Academy EU were able to win the war of attrition and are able to at least close it out with a segment progression, or at least ruling away that clock. Rokkr Academy are able to walk away with at least 3 segments total, but in a 1v9, yeah, you're not exactly going to be able to win that one, Metals.
I don't know too, mate. I've done many a 1v9.
You haven't.
Play lobbies.
No, you
yeah,
haven't.
you know, admittedly, those 1v9s are like in the very lowest rank in rank play. Don't give me credit where credit is due. But regardless, regardless. Oh dear, Ultra Academy going to kick things off here on the offense. We'll see if they can win out this round, and things not going exactly so well as they look to get every single gunfight is gone Rokkr Academy's way. This is how you start our defense, folks.
Not too shabby. You can see Ultra Academy EU just trying to reel with themselves. Weeman also has a glide bomb, keep in mind, so that's a resource that they can hold and utilize in their back pocket, but scrambling, trying to get themselves to the middle of the map, they find themselves an opportunity as they were heavily focused where Rokkr Academy over towards that A defense, but although Ultra Academy EU were able to work their way, touch that B zone, that's about all they're going to be able to do, but at least allow Beans to get that first segment over by A.
Yeah, that's the thing at the moment for Ultra, just trying to create space so they can grab A. Rokkr Academy, I think, well aware of that fact. If they could send a couple of players to grab A, well, why not? But if anything, just make sure you pose yourself ready for the inevitable rotation over towards B, the Ultra side. Metals now looking to get deep inside behind enemy lines, looking to cause all sorts of problems. There's the first kill versus Weeman, looking for the second, and will find it. And now for Metals, 6 in a row, 1 shy of a glide bomb. They've already got 1 on deck, by the way. Rokkr Academy will be pretty good in the armory if they can get this one.
Fishing for it. Beans watching the flank. Big kill to shut down on the Metals. No glide bomb to be earned. Beans actually snaps on towards 1 top church. A-zone has been secured, 60 seconds out on towards the board. It's a 2-life deficit that the offense are currently battling against, but any zoning away, any sort of mockery going into the back line of Rokkr's camp will not be allowed. Pierce is the last player alive. Finally, Beans will encroach forward over towards top patio. Just has to hold the position while the rest of the players work away off a spot.
Did look concerning for a moment there, didn't it, as Beans throws a stun right back at himself. Wanted to give himself a handicap so he can kill these guys fairly. Does get shut down there by Real, who was lying in wait, literally. These players still... Sukri? Okay, he just flies out. Lucky now up the bat as well. Hello, these guys, they have no fear whatsoever. It's bare bloody grills. Doesn't matter. Ultra Academy, they cannot get close at the moment. And as a matter of fact, the grip over this map at the moment is being strengthened here for Rokkr Academy. Things are not looking good for Ultra. They are down by double the lives.
Just feel like you really want to be able to get at least 1 segment of progression. You're not going to use the glide bomb to be able to get it, but you want to make sure you have any sort of advantage going in towards a round 5 defense. for at least one of these teams. But Wee Man was able to at least slip by inside of column. This is being reinforcement to get through scot-free. You got Metals zoning away top side of maps, so that means that top green is not secure, but the stack is in. They're able to get that first segment of progression. That's massive, and they're still finding kills. Finally, Metals is able to activate themselves top green, find at least one kill, but the battle's not done yet.
How far from over here? 11v4, the tick progression starting to come through, and this is a dangerous position. Rokkr trying to close things out, though. That second tick doesn't come through, but there is still one player who could do something about this. It's Wee Man, who might have filtered through in the back. He does get Metals, but gets shut down by Lucky. So the trades are through. Over there, by the way, you can see Katana Gaming win out their control versus Dizzy's Rascals, who should be able to go 2-1 up in this series, but 1v8 now for Ultra Academy. Vortex, good luck. 10 seconds left. It's still possible, to be fair. Yeah, he's got this?
Winnable!
Yeah? All right. Someone get the Skybet app out right now.
It's not going to get there in time.
You were close. You were close.
Well, even still, I think the entire storyline going forward is that Ultra Academy U, although being down in lives, it is truly never chalked. It was just a little bit of a fun pun of a sentence, considering that it is Rokkr that has made that their statement of the entire year for CDL. But they completely fly out from P5. They leave Metals behind, who does find one, and they get that stack for that one segment of aggression. Now, I don't know how many segments Ultra Academy EU were able to get off their initial offense. All I know is that they were able to walk away from 4, which could be massive for Rokkr Academy on this offense. The difference maker, if you will, in between getting round 5 defense or not.
Indeed, Rokkr Academy here. We're going to have a solid go of things on their offense. And gunfight's not too bad. Beans the only player left to deal with on towards the point, and Beans is not falling easily whatsoever. He even elongates the gunfight there versus Rokkr, and now furious to pick up the baton. Still presence inside you. He doesn't exactly have support, though, so if he falls, the trade will not be through, and there you go. You're seeing exactly that in towards effect as Ultra Academy are going to be trying to entrench themselves inside fire, but Rokkr starting to capture this point.
Up that second segment. Wee Man trying to instigate it again. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty, Brody. That's your main AR, by the way. Just comes sliding inside of you. Finds 2. Buys enough time for Fears to actually work their way back in to be able to deplete most of that second segment of progress. It was the Mustachio's hair away. We're doing that second segment. The Rokkr Academy will not be able to complete that segment. And you have a lot of players zoning away. Different points of interest. You have Real inside of Church, trying to at least trust that their teammates are going to be able to find pressure inside of A, but nobody was watching L. Vortex will hit that flank, is only able to find at least one. Second segment should be coming through, especially with Real finding players in the backside of Church and now up inside of Feel. You just chalk this if you're Ultra Academy EU, and you just set yourself up for B defense.
That seems like what they're doing. They've even pushed Beans all the way through, by the way. I don't think he's aware of the fact that Rokkr is currently just sitting there, so we'll be seeing him. Real is ready for someone. Push him inside Church. There you go. Furious going to fall. So keep an eye on Real. He's looking to do some serious damage here in the backline. Ultra, it might have a tingling feeling that someone has slipped the net. I think you can already see by Beans on the minimap that is exactly what's happening. But some of the gunfights going down now towards the map side as well. As those gunfights starting to go down. Real finally activating, and he wins his one versus Beans. There is an opportunity now, an opening for this Rokkr Academy side, but you need to convert, you need to get more gunfights. And they're actually going to utilize a streak as well. It gets one, but it's tough, right? Because you need to follow that up with some control, and you just don't get any.
And there just wasn't anybody for Rokkr Academy in a position to be able to get themselves forward positioning. Again, Sugri called that off a spawn, was just hoping that Metals in towards the back was going to be able to stay alive, find more kills, but finally they're starting to pour through. Rokkr Academy able to find 2. Wee Man's going to answer back with a glide bomb of their own, I believe. Yeah, it sure will. That'll keep all the players at bay inside of green, but Rokkr Academy still have a 2-life lead. You can play the trade game. You got 45 seconds to do so, and now it's just one more life for Ultra Academy EU. Rokkr Academy can absolutely close it out on this offensive push.
Yeah, Lucky just takes down Wee Man there, I believe, with another glide bomb that we probably weren't even aware of. So now Rokkr Academy here in with a good opportunity to close out this control right here and now. Can they get it done? There are Ultra Academy players still sitting around, but only 3 of them. Beans will not come back from the spawn point, and Furious wins a crucial 1 versus Metals. These guys, all they need to do is just bring down the time. But they don't know about Lucky. And here we go. It was only a matter of time before Lucky struck. And there you go. Takes down 1. Just Vortex and Wee Man now. We man catch this guy off guard well as Supri falls. There is an opportunity here for these players. We man trying to line them up, but in a 1 versus 4, it's going to be tough. These guys can start to stack on the point to pile on the pressure. We man feeling the heat. He gets
Wow.
shut down, and Rokkr Academy. I was concerned by the first glide bomb, and now I understand why, because they had a second way to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just one of those things that the glide bomb initially was basically trying to set themselves up for a forward position to be able to get in towards the back. That does not come through, but you take a look at the game clock, being able to whittle away any sort of lives that Ultra Academy on defense were trying to seemingly play with. It keeps them trapped. You find at least one kill, but you need to be able to then turn that into forward positioning, because you knew that after all those kills started to come through against Ultra Academy, they're going to be spawning on the backside of church, if not top field. So you need to be able to take that positioning inside of P5 once again. Then you find 2 more kills, and then the most important part comes through as Lucky was able to find that kill onto Wee Man, gets on towards that B zone, stops that clock, and then waits for the other 3 players to work their way across the P5 area to be able to come back and reinforce that push that Lucky was starting to manifest for Rokkr Academy. And it absolutely comes up in all spades, because you knew that desperation was going to start setting in for Ultra Academy EU defensively. They don't want that second tick to come through. I would probably argue at that point that it was probably a total of 3 segments versus the 7 in total for Ultra Academy EU. They wanted to make sure that they got round 5 defense, right? Nades are coming through. Find nothing. They start flooding through that church ramp. They get absolutely lasered down trying to get inside top green and through ramp as well. And then all the lives just completely get whittled away, and Rokkr Academy just play the trade game, much like what we saw in that Bocon Search and Stray, to such a high degree to be able to put themselves into further position, to be able to keep numbers for themselves, to be able to win just that offensive alone, to be able to take that over against Ultra Academy EU for one, winning against them on control, which it should have been a better game mode for them as a whole. 2-2 overall for Rokkr Academy headed in towards this, 3-1 for Ultra Academy heading in towards that Tuscan. Rokkr Academy take a 2-1 lead in the series. Impeccable stuff.
Yeah, and we can talk about that again. Ultra Academy EU, to kind of clarify this for you guys at home. For Control, Control was their best game mode last season, Ultra Academy EU, and it looked like they were continuing that into this season. Again, they were 3-1 coming into this affair, but they do get shut down by Rokkr Academy. A huge game to win here in this best of 5, especially as we move forward in this one, because Ultra EU, they looked aggressive in hardpoint number 1. And they could well replicate that going into hardpoint number 2. So massive victory there, I think, for Rokkr Academy in our overall best of 5. But while we've got you guys' attention, I think we should probably give you guys an update on what exactly is happening right now, kind of around the ground. So again, we kind of talked about earlier on, War versus Wobbobobs. That match is going on right now over at youtube.com/COD. Challenges casted by the wonderful I Hold Shift and Visions. War currently 2-1 up in that one. Wobbobobs have just got a 3-0 control off, though. Versus that War lineup. So that's an interesting one that is going on right now. AIM and Invincibles, as we said, I mean, we could talk about this for a second proper. Just like, Invincibles? 3-1? AIM? Damn.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I just feel like, I mean, this isn't a slight on Invincibles whatsoever, us being surprised, but it's just like, that has shaken everything up, right?
I think it's interesting because I'd really have to go back and double check the pick ban and veto process for AIM Esports to again allow that Gavutu hardpoint to continuously come through. I feel like I'm a broken record through a lot of these seasons of the Elite ever since season 2. I've been talking about this AIM Esports roster, Core 3, or this new foundation. Like, just stop playing Gavutu. It's never been well. You never done well on it. I mean, it's always been close. Sure, maybe you have a couple map wins, but it should be a hard veto going forward. They always start off super flat. And again, Invincible is able to win the back 3. The Desert Sea Surgeon destroys 6-2. Gavutu control 3-1, where Invincibles, again, just have one player named Rafi who was just going absolutely rogue throughout the entirety of those last 2 maps. Dropped a 35 bomb in those 4 rounds where the play on the Gavutu control. Also has some big work being put in on that Gavutu hardpoint, along with Nile, who has also stepped up quite wonderfully for this team of the Invincibles. But the job today was done. You got the win versus AIM Esports as one of the top 4 teams that we do currently have in Europe season 4 of the Elite. But they still have to get through Ultra Academy EU. That's their next matchup once they're done playing against Rokkr Academy here with us. And then they also have to face Team War tomorrow. So, I mean, yes, you got one head-to-head win, but that series record needs to be bumped up, and you're facing some of the best teams here in Europe.
I mean, maybe you're just hoping to take some of these guys down a peg or 2, right? At this point, it's like, hey, these guys are all fighting for like top 4. Let's just knock them out. Let's just have fun with it. It's been a weird season for Invincibles. Again, I think when we talk about kind of the season-long arc for the Invincibles roster, it's like, you look at this team and just kind of where they've been at. You know, season 1, obviously they played really well. I think they got third, if I remember correctly, with Furious on the team. But since then, it's just been like, it's been a question of, can they replace Furious with a player that was just as good? I don't know if that's happened. I'll be honest. I still think Knowlton is a very good player, though. I will say, though, I stand by the statement that we had during season 3, which is that roster, the new Invincibles roster, the current iteration, is the best they have looked since season 1. So they
Absolutely.
seem to be looking pretty good now. And again, it's just this war, right? It's like you've got 3 massive names to take down for your last few games of the season. It is a horrendous run. Like I think a Wobbabobs are the only other team that have anything like that. It's just like, whoa, it's a horrible gauntlet to go through. But you know what? They've just taken down AIM, so maybe they can get it done. It would be quite something, wouldn't it? It would probably be one of the biggest comebacks we've seen this season in both North America and in Europe. But back to that final match that we were talking about, Katana Gaming going up against Dizzy's Rascals. That one currently 2-1 up to Katana Gaming. Again, that one I think is just Katana hoping to stay alive. If they lose to Dizzy's Rascals, it's done. It's over. You're not getting through. So yeah, we'll keep you guys updated that one. But back to Ultra EU and Rokkr Academy then. Bakaj Hardpoint is up next. Andy, what are your thoughts on this one? How do you see this one going?
I mean, Bakash Hardpoint as a whole, I mean, it's always just a mix, right? I mean, who's just frying, who's frying to be able to also fight those gunfights, with also making big crucial moments come through to be able to turn Hardpoints like 2 and 5 into a Money Hill. You could also turn P3. I've seen every Hardpoint actually be turned into a Money Hill, barring maybe P1 at most junctures of time. But I think it's going to be interesting to be able to see, is the SMG pressure going to truly be there? Because you go to map number 1 on Tuscan Hardpoint between these two teams, and Vortex was absolutely frying. It just was not consistently there throughout the Search and Destroy in the Tuscan control, that you felt like that little bit of a pace differential really start to come through, specifically by way of Sukri being able to be a little bit more flexible. Again, main AR for this squad, picking up an SMG, was finding themselves a lot of big gunfights in that Search and Control. I think that it just comes down to both Furious and Vortex to have themselves a great map number 1. You have a 2-1 overall record for season 4 of the Elite for Rokkr Academy. Ultra have only played this once, where they lost 260 to 250 to AIM Esports.
That's a pretty good start here from Vortex, and you kind of talk about him wanting to really pick up the pace here. Yeah, I've said it before, Vortex has never been the flashiest of players. I think, you know, what he brings, his value to the roster, it is not that pure electric hype that you might see from a player such as Real, but, you know, he was going off in map number 1. He was playing very well, so if he's able to reproduce that here in map number 4, you're absolutely right. You know, could well be the win condition for Ultra Academy that would send them towards a game number 5, and immediately, I like this play that we're seeing from Ultra Academy here. They've sent one player towards the rotation. It's Wee Man. Probably hasn't done enough just yet to influence the spawns, just because of the fact that Sukri and Metals are still over here. But Wee Man fighting for his life at the moment. He gets that 1 kill versus Lucky. If he can get the second as well, it doesn't do it. Would have been huge, but I tell you what, he wastes enough time that the rest of the team can arrive.
Yeah, but look at the barn control coming through. You already have 2 players in here. Metals will be at least scouted out for the trade, but Real completely slips the net for the time being. Finally be traded, but Lucky has also found themselves a timing in towards the back. You can already see what that's starting to do for the spawns. Bean spawns out, you have Real spawning into the backside of 10, and you also had Metals resurface outside of Barn. If you can keep this contested going forward, that would be big for Ultra Academy EU. We're spawning on the unfavored side so far for P2, but this is a very realistic hardpoint you can hold from the front if you find the kills.
It is. We're going to hold this one from the front. Wee Man and Beans combining for 2. Third one in for Beans as well. And a really good position here from the Ultra Academy side. 25 seconds. That is a wealth of time still to get here off the back of this hard point. And Rokkr Academy, they'll want to give this kind of one big last hurrah. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Finally, there you go. Sukri and Lucky going to win inside the kill feed. Gunfight's going their way, but now starting to focus here on the rotation. You're starting to see Ultra Academy. They've got the spawns inside the back, but look at Rokkr. They've already got players in. Sukri up top, Metals down low. The former is going to fall, and Sukri, well, and Metals, excuse me, falls after that as well. So Ultra, they're going to break first.
Break first, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting scot-free, but at least you had Furious zoning away in the middle of the map. Does well to find 1. That'll keep numbers damaged for Rokkr Academy trying to break their way back in. Metals trying to make an argument, though. He's able to find 2 snaps on the Vortex. Good lord. It doesn't mean that you're able to fully break on in. You do not have the numbers of your Rokkr Academy to break back into combating against these close spawns. Lucky aware of that, trying to break back into the back window of Grandma's. Still pressure from the attic. This has been a fantastic hard point for Ultra Academy EU as Beans finds 2 more to solidify the back 20. Now, Rokkr might threaten it, maybe send an SMG player to finesse for some scrap time, but you want to most importantly get yourself set up across that A lane inside a barn.
did you do? Still sending players towards the hard point. Oh, Rokkr Academy, but they're getting shut down at every lane. And Beans now on a 5 spree. We'll keep an eye on him moving forward here as if he can get that glide bomb. We know how potent those things can be on Bikaj hard point, but it will be Rokkr Academy touching first here towards Bard. Now can they hold it? That's the question. We man. Gonna draw the first blood here on the Crusade towards the new, and well, Beans, he's over here. There's 6. Oh, there's 7 as well. Beans explodes and looking for number 8. Just give him kill after kill after kill. Number 9 on the platter. Lucky will take him down, but those 8 kills effectively garner the rotation for Ultra.
I mean, Beans was just destroying everybody in his wake. Double positive 12 and 6. You know, I was talking about how Furious and Sivo need to have themselves a little bit of a breakout. Map number 4. Well, yeah, why not Beans? The #1 statistical player consistently since this team has formed. Step up, pick up that 3rd SMG. Things you absolutely love to see as a 46-point lead has started to build for themselves. Ultra Academy EU just living in the mix to get themselves back in towards P4 yet again. Find these gunfights required to be able to soak up the back end of the scrap time. They'll be over 100 points before Rokkr Academy even touch 50. This 60-point lead on a map like Bokaj halfway through the first set of hard points is damning. It's alarming. Rokkr Academy needs to break themselves back in, and Beans wants them to feel the pressure.
I most certainly will make them feel that pressure. Unfortunately, though, there's nobody to follow up that glide bomb, so they will need to kind of make use of it. Just the straight gunfights coming through the front of the hard point. They were so preoccupied with the back line that, well, pretty much everybody going to fall. Trades galore, and, well, Metal's the last man standing. Will do enough here so that Rokkr Academy can stabilize. That is a pretty good front there of the glide bomb. They're okay to deal with it. The resistance is good enough for the Rokkr side. Now they're looking to follow up some more time with the back of this hill still, though. Can Ultra come in for this scrap? Stevo looking to come in from behind. He gets shut down. Now Beans in from the street, able to take down Real for a second as well. Beans is on fire at the moment. That's 3 more for Beans. This guy is nuts. He's making me gassy.
Yeah, even our producer is going to sit there with a clean one. I'm just going to move away from that one.
Yes. You have baked beans? Huh?
I did not have my baked beans for breakfast today, Brody. I am sorry. I am American. But Ultra Academy EU beans specifically making Rokkr Academy gassy with just how difficult they've been able to battle their way back into the end of the first set of hard points. I mean, yeah, they did well to at least get 28 points and deny Ultra Academy EU any time off of P5, essentially. But you needed more off of that when you're looking at it from Rokkr Academy. You just needed more to come through in that first series of hard points. Sukri is getting belittled 10 and 16. Real can't find much of any 13 and 18 on a map where an SMG should be absolutely flourishing. The only player that's finding continuous pressure is Metals, but I mean, Beams is just, he's just finding these gunfights. He is brute forcing his hand through a lot of these different gunfights. He's 22 and 9, Brody. He knows that these spawns are still on the backside of 10 for Rokkr Academy. He does not care because Ultra Academy are just frolicking through the map.
Ultra Academy having a great time here. Again, you know, you kind of mentioned it earlier on, right, Andy? It's that 60-point advantage. Okay, Sukri's going to win an important 1v1 versus Vortex. There is still a path back into this game, but as we say, it's that 60-point advantage, right? It is just so damaging. As we said, though, Rokkr Academy, there is a path back into this game. It's about holding on the spawns, and, well, Furious coming in to ruin their day. In from behind, he's already picked up one, looking for some more, and it doesn't even matter. It's the presence, right? It's just the damaging of the spawns, the changing of those spawns that Rokkr Academy, quite frankly, can't do anything about. The banana from the hard point, and it only took about 15 seconds.
How can you work your way back in? I mean, Lucky is already in from behind, but the moment they try to pounce, they get struck. It's just a little bit too isolated, isn't it? I mean, too individualistic coming away from Rokkr Academy. They need some semblance. They need some nades to come through to at least give themselves an opening where the bait and switch is at to overwhelm the pressure, because Ultra Academy EU are just walking away with all of the gunfights known to man. 153 v 78. You got Furious playing in a corner, waiting for the reintroduction of Rokkr Academy, trying to break inside P2. And every single time they have themselves an opportunity, Brody, they are met by crossfires. They are met by just sheer resilience from players like Beans, who's still just going AWOL at 26 and 14, started running the route from behind.
It's a struggle for sure, isn't it? We move over towards the new rotation, though. This is where Ultra Academy got a ton of time last time around. This is where they basically blew the game wide open. So it's not out of the question here. They're not out of the realms possibility for Rokkr Academy to do the same to them, to crawl their way back into this one. By the way, quick look at our picture-in-picture. As you can see that Katana Gaming currently losing to Dizzy's Rascals as they look for a game number 5. But regardless, back in towards this one, as we said. Rokkr Academy, they have an opportunity here to hold on for a full 60, but Ultra Academy spawning in the backline. How ready are the Rokkr side for this one? Bean starting to break his way through. Does get shut down, but a lot of time they're going towards Rokkr.
Nice shots from Sukri, wallbang included. Breaking back in from the front of P3. Find those back spawns. Ultra Academy EU, I mean, they got the leader's advantage. You can throw lives at this if you really want to. It just makes sure the Rokkr feel the pressure because you know the rotation from 3 to 4 isn't exactly a long one. Want to keep them trapped in the backside of hedges, but they're actually going to concede the space for now. Just set themselves up in the back because they want to make sure no pesky SMG from Rokkr Academy are working their way in towards the back. And, well, as soon as they clear it, they would be right. There's no pressure from the back. It's all coming through the front.
A lot of pressure starting to be felt now for both the squads. Metals in from the back line, able to take down Weeman. Vortex still to go as well, and Vortex is trying to play this one rather cautiously, and, well, it doesn't really matter as well, because Furious comes through for 3, and Ultra Academy will stabilize. They're in towards the hard point, and now they're starting to spread themselves out as well. Furious making his way towards the middle of the map, trying to keep a guard on that area of Bikaj, and we'll get Real looking for Sukri, gets shut down. Rokkr Academy now trying to find their way back in for the last 30 seconds of time, and again, the kills do come through. Metals, unfortunately, going to take down his teammate, but it is enough to get these guys out of their kill. And again, even 20 seconds here, this is a crucial amount of the time, and that's why Metals is fighting tooth and nail for it.
You have to going forward. It's that 40-point lead that Ultra Academy EU still hold over Rokkr's head that they need to try to bounce back from. Some form of money hill needs to come through for Rokkr Academy. You're hoping that it's going to be P5 again. They find rotation of gunfights. They have the zoning away. Real's trying to find gunfights over by A plat. They're keeping players at least busy for Ultra Academy EU's side for the time being. Does well to find at least one. They will be traded out, but the pressure from the front's still there. Trades galore. Beans is able to find at least one. These close spawns might not mean much of anything for Rokkr if they can't break back in for the time.
And you've got to be careful now as well, because you can see Furious just guarding the back line, making sure these guys don't even get past the hedgerows. And that's enough, isn't it, for Ultra Academy? Vortex now starting to apply the pressure as well. You know, jobs are good, and they've removed these guys. Vortex able to win the 1 versus Real, looking to do some more damage against Sukri towards the Willow Tree. But again, the job is done. They've removed these guys from the hard point. 25 seconds worth of time here. Trade starting to come on through, though. Rokkr Academy still fighting for this 20 seconds. Metal stuck in Real, all winning their ones, and Furious, the last one to say anything about it. He will get shut down. And we were talking about this 60, 70 point advantage. To be fair to Rokkr Academy, they've won pretty much every rotation for the last 3 or 4 hard points. They have reduced the deficit now to about 45. They've still got a long way to go, though.
They do, because they continuously keep getting broken. It's not just the initial gunfights, it's the returning gunfights that Ultra Academy EU Alpha Respawn are able to win for themselves. And it doesn't always have to amount towards time. You just have to make sure that Rokkr aren't getting any time for themselves. About a 44-point lead going in towards the 3rd set of hard points going forward. We got to talk about the game clock as well. It is under a minute, and Rokkr Academy are still very, very far behind.
Rokkr Academy still got to find a way back into this one. They're not on the right side of the map for inevitable rotation over towards P2, and they're not earning any time for P1 as well. Even worse is the fact they're bleeding that time away to Ultra Academy, but a wave of gunfights do come through. A crucial wave at that. That should bat Ultra Academy away for a moment. They will not be long before they're right back into the action, though. That is just how Challengers works, and Stevo comes through with 2. That's, again, 15 seconds. That is just so damaging. And look how entrenched they get into towards the spawn as well. They are forcing Rokkr all the way back home.
You got Furious. Let's push it even farther from Vortex. He's finding themselves kills on the backside of hedges. That'll actually force all of Rokkr to spawn on the backside of 2, essentially. Ultra Academy, I mean, they're okay with this for the timing. You go back towards the first set of hard points. This is where the majority of their time came from, was from the front side of the hard point. Furious can do no wrong. Looking for kill number 40. Beams Metals from top barn. Will find kill number 40 to their 27 deaths. Just 16 points all that are required for Ultra Academy EU to win map number 4 and force a map number 5 versus Rokkr. They finally break themselves back in for some time, but you gotta play perfect.
Indeed you do. 16 seconds, all that Ultra Academy require. Furious in on the flank. He will get shut down. Some shots in is all that he's going to contribute to that engagement. And Rokkr, they have a moment to breathe. 25 seconds here, still worth to get. Ultra could choose to apply the pressure. They've got the spawns they want for that inevitable rotation, but is this the perfect break coming through here from Rokkr Academy? Lucky has a ton to do. Nobody is around him just yet, so we'll have to fly solo for a moment. A huge 1v1 on the steps, but Furious is going to win out. So Ultra winning the first couple of gunfights here, and you're starting to see these players, they know they have to make some individual plays happen, and Metals, he's raring himself to go. He's got past 1, been behind enemy lines, but cannot get it done. Weeman takes him down. Ultra just 10 points away from victory. Sukri in the front. He disrupts the process, gets a second as well. Vortex pushes out towards the middle of the map. Nobody from Ultra in for the moment.
Game clock down to 20 seconds, 240 v 206. Ultra Academy just need to keep Rokkr Academy off this hard point, or they can still go the time, whichever comes first.
Rokkr Academy looking to survive. Sukri only able to get one. Real starting to face the heat inside. He's only able to get one. The trade isn't through from Metals. Beans with two. Wee Man, excuse me, with another one. Ultra Academy still having to fight for this, though. Rokkr not done just yet. 4 seconds away from victory, and now Rokkr have touched once again. Ultra continuing to spawn in the backline here. There is a path to look over towards the rotation, but you still need to win a wave or two of gunfight. Beans wins the first one. He is in. Vortex with another one as well. Is that it? Yes, it will be. We're going to a game 5.
Beans. Of course it would be Beans to close out that emphatic map. I mean, Ultra Academy, I mean, yes, they only won 250 to 224, and I say that because they held themselves about a 70-point lead or so, because with this guy on your screen, Mr. Beans, 41 and 32 overall for that map, just came out of the gates absolutely swinging, going on, what was it, about an 8 spree, as what we saw from them, at least through P3 going in towards P4. You always felt like the Rokkr Academy were at least knocking at the door, trying to get themselves back in from that 60 to 70-point deficit. And to be fair, they did. They were able to knock down that 70-point deficit to about 30 or 40 points. That's still damning on a map like Bokaj that you cannot keep it at least contested through the first series of hard points. And with that, when you have such a big lead for Ultra Academy over Rokkr's head going in towards the second set, you could just be annoying. That's when you saw Furious Vortex just always pushing into the enemy spawn. For Rokkr, Beans just finding kills inside the objective itself. It just always felt like that Rokkr Academy just could not win that second gunfight. We always saw when they were resurfacing themselves, getting the initial time, they were winning that first gunfight, sure. But the returning gunfights were always going towards Ultra Academy EU. And although they weren't always turning that into a massive amount of time, like what we saw with the first set of hardpoints, they were making sure that Rokkr Academy never were able to walk away with more than about 25 points worth of hardpoint time. And that's what is just so alarming, that the SMGs inside the objective itself could not put up as much sustaining numbers. And it is very, very confusing when you do look at 15 objective kills for Real, 10 for Lucky, 13 for Sukri, how that did not turn into more hardpoint time early on when you got Beans dropping 21 inside the hill with 2 minutes worth of hardpoint time. That just basically just screams where the narrative truly comes from of how Ultra were able to go up so early, so fast.
Yeah, Beans is nuts. That's all we can
He's
really say.
not bad at the game.
He is not bad at the game whatsoever, and that has been, I think, a storyline that's been consistent throughout this season for Ultra Academy, whether it be that previous money form roster or not. You know, Beans has been a real force for this side. He has been consistently at the top of the KDs for this team, and that is not without reason. When he needs to turn up, he absolutely does, and Ultra Academy going to benefit from it there. We're going to a game number 5 in this series. Berlin is going to be the battleground for that one, and honestly, we have no idea how it's going to go. All I'm going to say is that we can kind of see this one coming. Game number 5 between two extraordinary teams. It is going to be a banger. Trust me, you guys don't want to miss it. Before we get there, though, we're going to go to a very short break. When we return, we're going to have that one and some more after this. So everybody, it's time for some Call of Duty Challenges Elite now. It's game number 5 here between Rokkr Academy and Ultra Academy EU. It is a very important match as things stand to make sure you qualify for playoffs. So honestly, at this point, we have no idea how it's going to go. And we're going to the Battlegrounds of Berlin to get this one done. Ultra Academy first on the defense, and Rokkr trying to grab control of that A-bomb site.
Yeah, and you have a very forward position being played right now. Vortex up by pillars is trying to at least keep these players at bay. But we know Rokkr is just relentless on trying to assault these sites. Beans has a line of fire to be able to take down Lucky. That'll keep the bomb site at least vacant, and will keep Rokkr honest for now.
Rokkr not comfortable enough to get this bomb down just yet. They might find an angle. I think the bomb plant is going to come through from Real. This should flip the script somewhat, at least. Gives them a little bit more to bargain with. Has Sucri seen Furious, though? Yes, he has. And this is the big problem here. You're now starting to deal with these wayward players, the runaway players that are in these really awkward positions. Sucri taking some shots at the moment, but he is just wasting time away. These players are very far away from the bomb site, and Metals wins one up close as well. Finally, that gunfight has gone down elsewhere, by the way. Sucri has fallen, but Real looking to catch these guys off guard in possibly the weirdest position ever for a post-plant. Metals is defending this bomb site effectively all on his Larry. About to face down both of these players. Is the patience there, though? That's the question. He does get shut down, and now the player on the defuse, Real, should be able to pop up. Gets the first kill. Can he get the bomb in time? Yes, he can. Wow. Real with a 1v2 and a 3v4 for Rokkr Academy as well.
I mean, I'd hate to go back to our map 2 conversations, but you really feel like it's that first blood, isn't it, Brody? First blood finally comes through after even Beans is able to find it. The bomb still goes down, but it's this rotational gunfights that need to continuously come through. If you go back to that Bocage Search and Destroy that Ultra Academy EU struggled with, again, out of the 7 rounds being played, Ultra did get 2 of those first bloods. But only one of them they were able to convert into a round. Really feel like that you're able to have at least some nades to be able to stop that A plant from coming through and able to get the total control that Rokkr Academy were able to play with.
Man gets first blooded over towards the bomb site. Still an opportunity here, just as Rokkr Academy did in the prior round to them. For Ultra to get the bomb down, especially, I would argue this is probably a better position, considering they could get it down on B, and we all know how potent the post-plant position can be. Devo not going to get it down just yet. Wants to try and even the odds here. Doesn't feel comfortable.
Oh, Vortex just waiting for the timing. He loses that gunfight? I thought Vortex had Metals dead to right. 4v2 now. Favor the defense. I mean, he's going to force Furious to try to make a play happen here. The bomb needs to only get collected, but it needs to be able to be put down. He's to try to extend this round. He knows that Metals is out here. Can he find this gunfight? No, he simply cannot. And this is a conversation that needs to be talked about. This Rokkr Academy roster, even when they were playing with Journey, this was one of their more integral Search and Destroy maps on Berlin. They were always good at Berlin. When it came to the hard point of the Search and Destroy, with Journey intact, this was always the first blood territory for Lucky across that B lane. They're able to give so much pressure, so much line of sight focus for Metals to be able to make that play happen inside the B hut. Able to find that kill on the Vortex inside that B hut stops any sort of B plan antics that Ultra Academy EU were once looking for, who have only played this map a single time all through Season 4 so far. It's a 4-6 loss to Wolvabuzz last week.
All right, Rokkr Academy starting very strong here in this Search and Destroy. Beans looking to catch some players off guard and laying down outside. I think Metals has an idea that he's here. There you go. Metals just takes his head off. Don't you try it, my son, Metals says. Now 4v3, the advantage most certainly in their favor. It's going to get him worse as well as Vortex, his flank is shut down. Furious checks the corner a little bit too late. Man 1v4. It would be a brilliant moment here in this game to stop Rokkr Academy catching fire, but as this bomb goes down, yeah, it's starting to feel out of reach. It's going to be a tough one either way.
Lucky's already going to be watching this. Man can't push that angle. He's just going to nade himself off. There's just no reason to try to force any sort of antics. A 1v4 would have been clutch, would have been cool to see, but feeding more streaks over to Rokkr Academy is not exactly where you want to be. This is starting to have some semblance of what we saw at the beginning of the map number 2 between these two teams. Rokkr Academy fighting these first bloods. If they don't get it, everybody's in a tradable position to be able to shut down more pressure points throughout the entirety of the map. This time it was Sucri up top. It was just setting up any sort of mid-map cross at Ultra Academy. You were trying to bring themselves back in towards A as Metals, again, finds themselves some more kills to tally on up for a 5-3, 2 away from getting that glide. And it's a cut and repeat of what we saw originally from Rokkr Academy on the previous defense. This time a nade takes Metals out from that back hut position.
I'm going to be planted here. for Ultra. This is a much better go of things than they had in their prior offenses round. And of course, they've got the numbers advantage. How do Rokkr approach this one? You got to do it fast, you have to imagine. Lucky's aware that somebody's in the site, just trying to get a feel for where that player actually resides. The nade isn't going to catch him. And even worse, elsewhere, Sukri's going to fall. The trade's starting to fall in favor here, of course, of Ultra Academy. And Real, the last player left alive, he is shut down. So Ultra get themselves on the board, and it is the improvements we see there from round number 2 that really put them in the lead.
Yeah, again, you know, why not just utilize any sort of rehearsal that you have for some nades, just clear away the backside of the hut, because, again, the same offer, I had no idea what it looked like over on the A side. Again, I'm much like you at home. I don't have a mini-map, so what I saw initially was Lucky overwatching Metals, trying to get up towards that B hut, Ultra Academy EU, showcasing their adaptations to the tendencies that Rokkr showcased on their previous defense, get that nade over towards that B hut, get Metals out from that position. It forces Lucky to give up that B lane, and it's just about getting that bomb plant, that checkmate-esque situation. So damn difficult to bounce back from.
Alrighty, well, Rokkr Academy here, looking to bounce back. One player sat all the way inside the bomb site. It's going to be Vortex. I think Rokkr Academy just trying to get a feel for where these players are. The shots coming in from afar from Beans means that they might not be as aware of it as you would like if you're a Rokkr Academy fan. Just waiting for Vortex to pounce here. Making sure that nobody's gotten that bomb just yet.
Waiting for the tumbleweed to come across our scenery. Nades still not finding anything. Look at Real. Inchworm jimming his way up those stairs. That can't be comfortable. But again, this is another offensive attempt where we're seeing Metals push their way up through the back dub steps. And just trying to find where this player is located. But Sivo's just waiting for the moment to pounce, but just waits a little bit too long. Doesn't clear away the backside of the window. Nobody was watching that upper courtyard side. He came down to Beans to watch it. He was damaged. That first blood's going to come through with the bomb following suit.
Oh, Real gets the bomb down. Gets away scarcely with his life. 3v4 now for Ultra Academy, and they're starting to hit this one very fast. Furious and Beans have both been found out, though, but it doesn't matter. Metals uses the 1v1. Weeman not able to follow up with another one, as Lucky going to take that player down. So 2v3 now for Ultra Academy to retake this site, and Rokkr Academy not giving them an inch just yet. Lucky pops his head up, takes down Furious Beans in the 1 versus 3. Nice flank to finish things off. Rokkr Academy there. It really felt like Steve-O had the clutch of the round and just couldn't get it done.
Well, I mean, sure, yeah, Vortex was playing in that position. You know, we saw Shotzi from Optic play in that same exact positioning, was able to walk away with a 3-piece, waiting for the timing to come through across that A bomb side, because you did have that island player, Weeman, making sure that there was continuously nobody crossing from mail inside that B hut, so they knew there was going to be a B hit, surely. 20 seconds remaining, that the push had to come through inside of A. Vortex just gets timing from the backside of Metals, just playing that very close corner. Beans was damaged off. Surely a nade or a stun came through to give up that positioning for Beans, and they cleared away the site wonderfully with 25 seconds remaining.
Now Ultra Academy back on the offense they go. They've chosen to go for A this time around for the first time here in this game. Sukri in from behind manages to get away, completely damaged 3, and might even be able to catch Beans off guard as well, but decides to turn his attention back towards the bomb site. And oh, that's unfortunate. Manages to draw the team kill out of Vortex as well. So Ultra Academy, they managed to catch that player off guard, but now 2v3, still got to get this bomb down.
And just look how isolated Vortex is from Beans. Beans is essentially all the way inside of Mail. Vortex up here over by the dub steps. Real throws the shoulder. Vortex thought about just getting the hell out of dodge. Maybe also thought about challenging it as well. We'll lose that gunfight, and it was seemingly looking pretty darn good for Ultra Academy off that first blood. A forced teammate comes through. It's completely fallen by the wayside. Beans for a 1v3, 28 seconds remaining. If you can tell by the camera in my voice, it's probably not likely to happen with the ball being dropped over by A. Metals has that line of sight covered, and again, it is just fundamentally sound search and destroy coming through Rokkr Academy. There is not a single T that is not crossed. There is not a single I that is not dotted. Every single angle is being watched. They collapse off of the information from stuns and nades, and they force Ultra to make the play happen. And that play comes through, sure. Vortex as well as Furious try to instigate that first blood, as they historically have done all seasons of the Elite, but it forces a way of team kill, and then Rokkr, again, just hold those line of sights. They're able to get those numbers in their favor, have another 4-round lead up on series point here on Berlin Search.
1 round away, our Rokkr Academy. Winning this game, number 5, and winning 2 convincing search and destroys, by the way, at that. Huge victories for them here. Ultra Academy. Ending at the moment, and they have pushed very far up, to be fair. for the first blood, though. Vortex has spotted out a couple of players, and now I think if you're Vortex, just try and get away. But there is one player inside Secret that could do some serious damage. It's Real.
Comes down to all this timing, doesn't it? I mean, you can see Ultra just playing so passively, just waiting for anybody to cross it. Furious, he didn't see Sukri cross underneath. He's gonna hear Sun be pulled. He sees Metals through the floorboards. You need this first blood, but Metals will find it for himself. You can't lose that one.
Oh, no. Oh, that's brutal.
Wow.
3-man 1v3. He gets the first kill with a pistol. The trade is through, though. Of course it is. Rokkr Academy sticking together like wet glue. And, well, 6-1 in the search and destroy. How about that? What? Dominant search and destroy earlier on. They give only one S&D round away. Same thing happens here. And Rokkr Academy, they win a crucial duel here with Ultra Academy EU.
It's just crazy when you go back and you look at the VOD that we had of any of the matches from Rokkr Academy just last week. Walking away from Toronto, you sat there to really psychoanalyze. And you're like, their search and destroy is really not that good. They're not able to fish away these first bloods. They're not able to capitalize on these numbers advantages. It just feels a little bit too easy for their opponents of AIM, like on that Desert Sea Search and Destroy, or even the Invincibles on that Desert Sea Search and Destroy, and Team War on the Tuscan Search. All 3 maps that they lost last week, you really felt like that Ultra Academy EU, who have historically been a lights out search and destroy team. Yeah, they had some struggles through season 2 and season 3, some growing pains, if you will, with the roster changes. But I mean, the Rokkr Academy, back-to-back 6-1 wins in this best of 5 series versus Ultra Academy EU, have just been playing absolutely crazed out of their minds. And if there's one player you definitely got to highlight through both those search and destroys, it has to be Metals. I mean, yes, Sukri and Real had themselves a great Bocas search map number 2, but Metals is always right behind them, finding themselves a lot of good damage, trying to at least instigate that first blood. It was just Sukri and Real that were walking away with it more often than not. This time, Metals plays a more proactive approach with an SMG through the majority of those rounds. Through 7 rounds worth of play, you always felt like that Metals was right there in a position to be able to pinch with Real, to be able to double challenge with Real, who went 7-1, by the way, only 1 death. Crazy to speak about, but Metals was always right there to be able to find that damage, 1,300 damage throughout the entirety of it, was walking away with 4 first bloods as well, and playing their life to a fine tee. Only 2 traded kills throughout the entirety of that. And that's, again, because of the fundamentally sound play that Rokkr do exhibit through their search and destroy. No play from an SMG goes unnoticed without an AR overwatching it continuously. It's just to the testament of search and destroy's history throughout the entirety of Call of Duty. Rokkr Academy were just playing so fundamentally sound, making sure that SMGs always had the help needed.
Alrighty, well, what a massive victory for Rokkr Academy. Let's talk big picture for a second here. I believe another result has just come in as Team War able to win a 6-4 Search and Destroy game number 5 versus Wobblebobs, dealing that roster their first loss here in Challengers Elite Season 4. Everything's starting to look really messy now as we saw earlier on. Invincibles able to take a victory away from AIM. Rokkr now winning versus Toronto. Let's take a look at the run-ins for these 2 teams here specifically for a second. So Rokkr now 3-2 overall in our standings with that. They still have yet to face Dizzy's Rascals and Wobblebobs, which I think the latter of those 2 tomorrow should be, I think, quite a decisive matchup. For Toronto, they still have to face Invincibles, who, of course, I mean, they've just beaten AIM. There's nothing to scoff at. And Dizzy's Rascals, who, of course, are already eliminated. So of those 2 run-ins, which one would you want, Andy, at this point?
I mean, I'd probably take Ultra Academy EU's run-ins as well. You know, that matchup versus the Invincibles, obviously you need to clean up your search and destroy. There's a lot of time to go into the back of house with Josh, their coach, to make sure that everything is as clean as possible. Not to mention how, again, you have some of the greatest search and destroy players to speak of from European Call of Duty on this roster. So I'm sure that they should be able to walk away with something going into their next matchup versus the Invincibles. That's obviously their tougher of the 2. And then obviously Dizzy's Rascals. I think the Rokkr Academy are certainly going to be further tested versus this Dizzy's Rascals matchup next for them going forward, because they got nothing to lose. But against the Wobblebobs tomorrow, that could be the defining odd to whether or not they actually do make it in towards top 4, if not have a favorable series record for some much needed seeding for that double elimination bracket at the end for playoffs.
Things are looking really crazy right now in terms of we really do not know who is going to qualify at this point. You know, there's a lot of losses, a lot of wins going on at the moment that are really starting to shake things up. And really, I think we'll only know by the end of today, once the fog of war is cleared, as to kind of what the state of play actually looks like here. You know, how do these teams actually look in terms of their battle for qualification. Of course, Andy, you and I, we always love working out those permutations before final day of Round. It's going to be the last time we can do it tomorrow, mate. It's going to be really sad. Regardless, we still have one more set of matches here to talk of in Europe. Of course, following the break, we have AIM versus Wobbabobs. It's going to be a great matchup. Trust me, you guys do not want to miss it. Come back on the other side of the break for more Call of Duty Challenges Elite. Everybody, welcome back to Call of Duty Challenges Elite here. Our coverage brought to you by Clutch GG. My name's Infinity, joined by Proper on the desk. We're about to get into our second set of matches with yet another bagger, AIM Esports, going up against Wobbabobs, and it is going to be a great one. It's an interesting one, right? Because again, I think if we've learned anything over the course of the first set of matches here today, it's that nobody is safe. AIM just took a convincing loss to Invincibles. Wobbabobs just took their first loss to Team War, and we really don't know what's happening anymore.
No, I mean, it's very difficult to be able to decide who stands where. All we know is that Wobbabobs still tied for the top with Team War, and you speak about that loss. This was map number 1. They only lost by 7 points, Brody. It was not convincing to say the least, but as far as this one may be starting out, still scrapping over P1 as it may end up being. You have Yako still trying to zone away barn control. Won't find much success whatsoever ahead of this rotation for 2, but still ample time to battle over here on 1.
Still going to fight for it here, but the Wobbabobs roster on the better side of the map for the moment as we rotate over towards P2. AIM Esports looking to find their way through, though. Yako and Eric Boom going to be the ones to fight for that rotation. And Wobbabobs break on through. They've got one player in the backline here. Brezzy, of course, the ex-Texas Nation man. Looking to make his way in the backline. Does get shut down here. So for AIM, this has been a pretty good start, I think, towards the rotation towards P2. But it's about holding it. Eric Boom doing a really good job so far inside 10.
Just trying to zone people away, but I mean, there's a lot of faith that your teammates are going to be able to find more pressure from the front, of which they come up with absolutely nothing. So Eric still needs to play in towards the back. He does well to find one, while more players are being isolated over by L and inside of Plat. Team Esports just cannot find the opening that they're hoping for to break back into 2 fully.
Indeed, Wobbabobs trying to fight this one from the front. But AIM Esports relentless from the back line. Eric Boom and Super are combining for 2 at the moment. You've just got to deal with Cobra inside barn. And Cobra, well, he's not giving up easily at all. He's able to pick up the 1 kill. And it will be aiming for that scrap timer. So far, this has been a pretty low-scoring game from both of these 2 teams. And I think that's just a testament to how well-contested those hard points have been from both rosters. But as we move our attention over towards New, it is going to be a Wobbabobs in for the rotation. They're the ones currently in control of the spawns. And, well, Cobra wins a crucial couple of gunfights. Chak still with another one as well. And the Wobbabobs, they will hold initially.
Initially, they will be in here for the first 10 seconds or so. You already know that will be set up yet again for AIM Esports and maybe try to contest it, but isolated gunfights are just not coming their way, not continuously, you would think. Trades still coming through galore. You still have to break back in towards the backside inside of the stairs. Chaxer was waiting, finds themselves 2. That'll keep the hardpoint contested for the time being with these close spawns. You should assume a Wobbabobs should be able to win the gunfights then soon forward, and Abusa does find a nice little 2. They'll at least keep this hardpoint in their favor.
Journey trying to fight will win a second gunfight, and this is a really good position, I think, from AIM. Yes, they're currently down in this game, but you can continue to kind of belittle a Wobbabobs to the back spawn. Journey going to be part of that effort. He's now going to face down the full force of this Wobbabobs roster, and he gets shut down by Chaxa here. So Pink in the kill feed, Pink in the hard point. They will get that scrap time, and so far this has been a close duel between these 2 teams. Yako trying to fight for the scrap time, does get shut down, and again, we look at the rotation here. It is going to be AIM touching first. Journey up top, one of the subs here for this AIM Esports lineup. Just trying to get the drop on a couple of players, and hasn't done so just yet. Just runs straight past Cobra. Just didn't see him.
Oh, didn't see him. There's a snake in the barn, and his name is Cobra. 12 and 6 double positive, something to be talked about, as Cobra has been the breakout player for this Wobbabobs roster, even at hardpoint alone. 1.32 overall KD for this season of the Elite. He's averaging about 330 damage per minute. 72% non-traded kills. He is everywhere that he needs to be at the right moment of time. But AIM Esports in the right place at the right time, soaking up some hardpoint time. You also have zoning away inside and outside of the hardpoint. Yako trying to play a little door play there. Won't be able to find the kill. They're just going to give it up for now. Try to play for the rotation ahead of 5 because they are more than aware, especially off those gunfights that come through the backside from Journey dying, that all of Wobbabobs are still in the backside of hedges.
Now, Wobbabobs are going to be the first one here. Now it's about holding. You've got players pushed all the way out. Cobra, he was getting very aggressive here in this game. I think big reason why right now he is 15 and 9. Also, Chaxter, though, has pushed out the street, and he might be able to catch a couple of players off guard as they make their way through that street. Look at the Super, he gets the first, tries to swing on towards Eric Boom, and does not get that gunfight. And Eric Boom now in a crucial moment, 5 in a row, does get shut down there. Massive break coming through here from the Wobbabobs.
crucial to be able to find these upcoming gunfights. But I mean, even finding that 1-for-1 right there from Yako is fine because it upsets the initial setup that Wubba were initially looking for. Brezzy had to give up over by L and over by Willow Tree. They have to get inside the hardpoint, and well, boy, howdy, do they have enough cover to be able to do it, especially with Abuser overwatching that main road. Brezzy will be quite literally exploded off of the hardpoint itself, but this has been a great turnaround from Wubba, getting those close hedge spawns, reinforcing the P5 hardpoint, cycling players in and out from the hill. They will have themselves about a 20-plus point lead going in towards the second set.
That's a big lead here for Bacard. It's not one that is out of reach for aim, but nonetheless, it is going to be a fight for them to have to do it, and that's not the best start, is it? As Cobra and Abuser come up with some kills here to kick off the second set of rotations. Now you need to start to come up with some time as well. You've got players entrenched inside Grandma's, or rather just player Cobra, who will actually get shut down by Yako here, and that will enable AIM to get themselves inside the hard point. But again, you need to follow up with some more kills to really secure a foothold over this hill. Yako is actually going to hunt here for Chaxter. Still not able to walk over the gunfight and gets caught mid-reload as well. That is tough there for Yako, especially as these gunfights are now being followed up with some more kills from Wubba. AIM Esports, this is not the hold they wanted over this hard point, but again, that thing you have to consider at the back of your mind. You are on the better side of the map right now for the rotation.
You are, but Brezzy's already starting to zone away. This A lane is already past T2, trying to find more kills. Maybe on the backside of 10, won't be able to get the gunfight that they were looking for versus Super, because they were assuming that they might be able to find a free kill top barn. Be able to find much of anything. So the hard point, at least being vacant, the rotation being vacant as well. AIM Esports still spawning on the south side of that river bend. Finally, Journey will spawn in. The hard point will become active. Will be a Wubba trying to battle in from the front. This would be a big push to be able to come all the way through, but a teammate miscoordination is not going to help out a Wubba's cause to try to break inside this hard point.
And will continue to spawn in the back line here. An opportunity to remove them from the hard point, and they do exactly that as Journey gets aggressive towards the alley, but shut down by Chaxter here as a Wubba trying to find their way through. But Super picks up 2. Star of the show for AIM, continually not really showing up here just yet. 17 and 18. Not the superstar performance we expect out of him. Maybe he can start to activate sooner rather than later. But overall in this game right now, AIM taking the lead away from Wubba. Now going to be in for some time. But look at this Wubba roster. They're never far away from the hard point. Continue to go at it. Abuser now the last one left alive. He's toying with Yako at the moment, just trying to waste this time away. Finally, that time will go towards AIM. But once again, we're faced with the same situation we were in last time. It is a Wubba who are in for the rotation towards Grandma's. Can they have just as good of a hold?
You got Brezzy again just zoning away. This A lane is playing on the backside of Flat, but need to be able to deal with this player, and although he only is able to find 1, that should be immediate confirmation for a Wubba. So the hits coming through from the front, but Journey works their way in, finds 2. Now it's about dealing with these respawning players in towards the back, of which AIM Esports, they do quite wonderfully. Just need to start zoning players away. You know Wubba are still going to hold those close spawns, but a very realistic opportunity for AIM Esports to hold from the front.
Super trying to keep these guys at bay, but Abuser comes through with 2, and that will open up the floodgates here so that the Wubba can get through. How effective are they at breaking on in, though? It is just Eric Boom all by his lonesome, and he's face down with just too many players to deal with. So this is 20 seconds here that the Wubba do want to take away from AIM. They might send a couple of wayward players. They're not exactly going to be punished for it, considering they've already got the spawns for a barn, but just the one player, a Wubba, they deal with all of the pressure, and now AIM actually going to be spawning in from the hedgerows. This is about as good of a push as you could get if you're a Wubba. You know, you see AIM, they spawn in, or they try to push for the last 10 or 15 seconds of scrap time. Now you flipped on out so that you're the first ones in for the barn hardpoint. And if you can hold just as well, this would be a big moment here in the game. Can they get it done? The kills starting to come on through. Trades coming out from Yako and Eric Boom, but not at full force to enter in the hardpoint.
No, not quite yet. You still got Cobra up top barn, just zoning players away, trying to find timings to drop down on more players. Finally, the kills start to bleed through for AIM Esports, but doesn't mean that you can try to knock down the very strong setup that a Wubba had ahead of this P4 hill. Every single lane is being looked at, and the SMG's always had a lot of help inside the hardpoint itself, and a Wubba will keep AIM Esports at bay. 25 seconds of battle over here on 4, and you know AIM Esports want to try to contest for this time. Yako, Journey able to find themselves a few, but the trade still continuously coming out from Wubba. Some help coming by way of Eric Boom from this front door in the middle of the map, just spamming shots, trying to keep this hardpoint contested. They don't want a Wubba to be able to build the lead that AIM Esports were trying to battle from in previous hardpoints.
This is such a tense game, by the way. I mean, Wubba are in the lead right now. They will be about 15 points or so, probably less than that at this point, moving into the next set of rotations. But Hugh is in that rotation. It is AIM Esports, and they do not want to get broken as quickly as they did last time around. They want to take the lead, and they want to solidify off the back of this hard point. But Wubba, can they break on through? Cobra trying to get in the back line is shut down by Yako, so that back push has been taken out. And for a Wobbabobs here, I mean, they managed to push it through the front. The kill's starting to come on through, and this is just worst case scenario. And as they aim, they take the lead, but it is only for a moment. And now they will continue to spawn in the backline. Brezzy on 5 in a row for Wobbabobs. There is an opportunity here, a chance to really start to capitalize on this.
Yeah, there really is, right? Because of Wobbabobs, again, on P5, they did this in the first set, but from the backside of the Willow Tree, just cycling players out from the hardpoint itself, making sure there was always someone watching that main road. AIM Esports just have no easy way back in. Finally, Super Yako able to find themselves 2 kills, but you're battling over 10 seconds for the hardpoint time. You're on 5. You got to start finding these isolated players from Wobbabobs, start getting yourself up around Grandma's, and start setting yourself up for the middle of the map. But Wobbabobs, again, walking away from P4, you got players like Brezzy and Abusa doing a great job of doing what Cobra did all throughout the first set, Brody, and that's just isolating these players, finding themselves easier gunfights, building themselves at least a comfort of a lead. But in towards the third set of hardpoints, it needs to be talked about how close these two teams truly are. 193 to 193. AIM Esports will take the lead again. We're down to 1 minute and 15 worth of game clock time. That if Wobbabobs can continuously keep this contested, and the same could be said for AIM Esports, we could be staring down the barrel of a very easy win condition.
This game at the moment, it really is to be decided by the smallest of margins. Individual efforts might well be the thing that separates these two teams. And you look at the rotations now, you look at the spawns being flipped. Wobbabobs, they've done enough here. They've got a wave of gunfights that will ensure they are on the right side of the map for the P2 rotation. AIM Esports will need to rely now on individual gunfights. You can see those ones going down on the minimap, by the way. Eric Boom starting to cause problems with the rotation. Brezzy trying to cover the middle of the map, trying to make sure players do not get out of Grandma's, and hasn't exactly done that. Eric Boom able to win at least one gunfight, but Brezzy still playing his life, and he might be able to pounce here on the players. He's able to take down Super, and now some more in from behind. Yako in for 2, though. Again, I mean, Brezzy's taken so long to do this. He now needs to be effective. There's one. Looking for the second versus Eric Boom. Cannot get it done, but make sure that Super falls. And now it is all on Eric Boom. Inside the hard point, he's going to fall.
Don't fall for now. Now you need to really step up if you are Journey. Can't find much of anything besides damage on a Brezzy, who's playing this dashy tank to a fine tee, finding more players off the respawn. 10 seconds required for a Wobbabobs, and they have the zoning required.
Anybody break through? Yako, I think he knows that he can't really afford to wait. You just got to go here to try and stop the timer. He won't be able to. Eric Boom, he's going to come in for a touch. He's able to pick up one. Can Journey make the individual play happen? No, he can't. Wobbabobs, they're going to walk away with the map number 1 victory here. And, you know, for a game that was back and forth, neck and neck throughout the entirety of the affair, that scoreline just doesn't do it justice, does it? The 40-point difference at the end, finally we see a solid hold.
Yeah, and it literally does tell that narrative to what you just brought up. Finally, a solid hold comes through. You really felt like that it was just 1, if not 2 moments from a Wobbabobs just either running away with the hardpoint entirely, or the same could be said from AIM Esports. There was just a lack of productivity coming through from a player like Journey on a map like Bokaj, where we know historically Journey can always go AWOL, find themselves a lot of good timings, but it was a little bit of disjointment, and that was coming through from players like Abusa in Brezzy, especially in the latter half of the second set of hardpoints. Cobra within the first, just doing a great job of just splitting any sort of numbers that AIM Esports were constantly trying to find for themselves. And that then got solidified on that P2 hold there at the final few moments, that you had Abusa and Brezzy just always trying to zone away more players, trying to push that line of scrimmage that much further forward, just trying to meet AIM Esports off the spawn, where you had roaming SMGs. If it was Cobra in the middle of the map throughout the entirety of the first set, then that got picked up by Abusa within that second set. It just never felt like AIM Esports had a secondary answer to Yako's immediate gunfight victories inside the hardpoint. Yeah, we saw more production coming away from Eric Boom to help out Yako inside the hardpoint itself, but just a little bit 2 moments too late, where you had all 4 players from the Wobbabobs roster firing off on all cylinders to be able to get themselves so much superior map positioning.
Alrighty, well, Wobbabobs, they're going to be striking first in this one, and it's a pretty good moment, I think, for them overall. We now look forward to a map number 2 that's going to be Tuscan Search and Destroy, and this is a positive affair, I would say, for Wobbabobs, despite the fact that they just lost it to Team War. Prior to that affair, they were pretty good on this map mode combination, Andy. Double 6-0s in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, double 6-0s in week number 1. They are 2-1 overall. As you were saying, they just lost the Tuscan Search and Destroy. This was map 2 versus Team War on the main channel. They lost just by 2 rounds. And again, it was just a game of inches when you really feel that it was coming to be, because Search and Destroy, again, when you're thinking about it, has absolutely been Abuse's wheelhouse, is sitting at about a 1.60 overall KD in Search and Destroy as a whole. When they're getting in first blood engagements, they're winning them 58% of the time. But a lot of the numbers advantage has been coming away from Cobra. 72% 82% first blood engagement victories for Cobra with 73% non-traded kill percentage. This guy is everywhere and just nowhere where you assume him to be. He's always playing their life, fighting those first bloods, and it kind of explodes what I was just talking about with that Bokaj hardpoint as a whole. That if you have anchoring coming from the ARs, the SMGs are just constantly just moving through the middle of the map, trying to find these little choke points to be able to keep their enemies at bay. It has always been such a boon of success for Wubs here in Season 4.
Alrighty, well, Tuscan Search and Destroyer, that is up next here between these two teams. Before we get there, though, we're going to go to a very brief break. When we return, we're going to have that map and some more Call of Duty after this.
Son, we're grabbing burgers for dinner if you're interested.
I'm vegan, Walter.
You had bacon for breakfast.
Okay, Mr. Perfect.
Want to really be a rebel? Get off your parents' car insurance.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody here to Call of Duty Challenges Elite for season number 4. We're jumping into the map number 2 now between Wobbobobs and AIM Esports. 4 minutes, 1-0 up now after Electric 10 towards the map number 1. Look at this, Electric start towards the search and destroy as well, but Eric Boom, he is ready for it. He draws that first blood, unable to get a second, but the information should now be enough to act on if you're AIM.
Yeah, it absolutely will be, right? I mean, Eric does his job. He needs to just find one. Cobra's doing this with a sniper. I mean, would have been a master class of a clinic there, but yeah, Eric does his job right there. You know, that island player over by patio sees 3 players slide into him, able to find one. Had a good look to maybe find the second, but just bought enough time for players like Super to come back through top church inside of radio. Journey to help things out as well. That just completely stops any sort of quick push antics coming through from Wobbobs early. And their immediate play was obviously catch AIM lacking over by B, get that bomb planted, get Cobra in a position to overwatch that with a sniper. Could have been deadly, but AIM Esports shut it down.
Alrighty, well, AIM Esports going to draw first blood here in the search and destroy, looking for the first blood in the second round as well. Super been very potent with the sniper rifle over the course of Call of Duty Vanguard. Will not get anything just yet, and as a matter of fact, the fact that they've retreated here, Andy, has given Wobbobobs a ton of room to breathe. Brezzy draws that first blood, but look how far pushed up Jackster is, and now it's time for him to explode. He picks up that kill on towards Journey. AIM left down to their last 2 players, and Cobra knows where they are.
Bomb still will go down here, so where do you go for a post plan if you are both of these players? Eric has already posted all the way to the backside of the truck, trying to wait for players to try to come in from the back. Needs to challenge this. Finds one, doesn't see the second until it's too late. Can he get out with his life? Well, maybe not. It doesn't matter because Yako, it was all just a bait play. Yako hits the timing. I didn't see it because, again, we don't have a mini-map. I didn't see it on the X-ray, just a small glimpse that we had, but in a post-plan situation, Eric pushes himself all the way to the backside of the truck here, Brody, and then Yako hits the timing up through church ramp and gets behind the entire play. The fact that Eric gets away with his life is massive for one thing. The next for Eric for Yako to be able to find that timing through church is quite unique for AIM Esports to win that with a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, massive 2v3 there for AIM Esports, and just goes to show the level of trust that Eric Boom and Yako have in one another for that to happen. Of course, a little picture-in-picture look right now, though, between Team War and Katana Gaming. The former currently up very close game over there at Igavutu hard points. We'll keep you guys updated as that one progresses, but back towards this search and destroy we go, and Jackster with the bomb. They're looking to do what they did in round number 1, but a little less vigor this time around, and they have a little less control as well as Eric Boom comes out with a kill versus Jackster. Super, give us a show, my friend.
Visa actually slips all the way through, so he can cause a little bit of damage in the back, but they're losing their reinforcement in the backside of Cobra. Leaves Brezzy alive in a 1v4 situation. Good luck, have fun, Paul. Can't even find the first. Same Esports just shutting down yet another B assault. And again, the push is meant to get themselves inside of B, obviously, but they're trying to at least set up Brezzy there in that specific moment to try to get behind the play and keep all of the AIM Esports trapped in the backside of church. The moment that, again, Eric puts himself in that corner, sees that door open, Super's not that far away to help things out. He was sniping top church. He just has to drop back down inside of radio, not seeing any pressure in the middle of the map to try to reinforce what was inevitably going to be yet another B push. And Wobbobs desperately need to go back to the drawing board for their offenses.
So far, this has been a very good search and destroy for AIM. Looks like the resistance has finally arrived here against the Wobbobobs roster on Tuscan search and destroy. Of course, we did see that in the prior best of 5 with War. Aids being thrown out now. Super has an idea that someone's around. Back ruins. Elsewhere, Chaxter's going to draw that first blood versus Eric Boom. Of course, Cobra had already put the first couple of shots in, and now look at the aggression coming out from Chaxter. He wants another one. He will get it. Cobra elsewhere to take down Yako. Journey, you're in a 1v4. This looks like it should be the first round here for Wobbobobs.
Should be. And, yep, it sure will be. Again, there's a lot of space being provided in the middle of the map defensively for Wobbobobs. You know, we saw that come through in their previous defensive attempt, Brody, where Chaxter was able to get all the way through the middle of the map and inside of L. That's thanks to that first blood. Top church to top fire. You really need an AR to be able to lock down that position, if not stay alive, cause some ruckus to be able to get a lurking player in the middle of the map. That comes through yet again. A lot of that A lane also given up as the Wobbobobs were able to brute force their way with the gunfights, put themselves on the board. You do not want to be down 0-4 versus AIM Esports on a map mode that is Tuscan Search and Destroy. They're not playing it through Season 4. Doesn't mean they're bad at it.
Oh, super. so far. Looking for the snipes elsewhere, though. Chaxter has been so good in this search and destroy thus far. Able to get yet another frag here, that time onto Yakko. Now the numbers in favour of the Wobbobobs team. At least, though, for AIM, they haven't given up much map control. The Wobbobobs still pushed pretty far back into their spawn at the moment.
Cobra, you say not that much map positioning has been given up, but Cobra's able to actually work their way all the way in towards the back. So far, they're not going to be able to find much of anything. And again, here comes another B push. Eric needs to be able to find some damage. Go 1-for-1 here, but only find some damage. Journey has to be that help across the way. Does find one, has some help with Super or the Boomstick. Surely we don't see another 2v odd.
He did it inside the church as well, by the way. That sniper rifle for Super. He is just, I think, the second kind of regular middle range gunfight that he's been able to get with it. Cobra just trying to keep an eye on these players. See if they cross paths as the bomb goes down. Now, where does the player go on the post plant? That's the question for me. Super trying to win the duel versus Brezzy, and Brezzy just going to back away wisely. Just knows all they need to do here is waste some time, but Brezzy could catch these guys off guard. He thinks they've gone over towards grass, but they're still to his left. Are they going to check it? That's the question. Journey just going to jump on the defuse here. Cobra with the sniper rifles should be able to get the one player, and there it is. Now, of course, the other players take those players down, and they run right past him.
Yeah, it just run completely right past him, right? I mean, you even said it right there, almost two ships in a moment type ordeal, right? Where you had Brezzy just across that A lane, just trying to try to find these players on rotation over towards that post plant setup, if not trying to retake it. Also seeing the live look, and Team War losing their map number 1, 14 points to Katana. That is massive for a lot of different stipulations. But that previous round, Wubbubs again just not getting over egregious as far as positioning is concerned, really playing the pick game strong in the past 2, making this a 1-round affair.
Oh, Cobra looking for that first blood. Find it just yet. And this time, first blood will go the way of Brezzy. He was able to take down Super, and that's a sniper rifle out of the round here for AIM. They wanted to get the bomb down over towards B. They wanted to progress through maps. That hasn't happened, and it gets worse as well as a nicely placed nade from Brezzy will remove Eric Boom from the round. Journey going to fall as well. Yakko, 1v4. Good news, you've got the bomb. Bad news, you're surrounded by Wobbobobs players.
Cobra doesn't see Yakko. I assume that Yakko has seen Cobra. But he can't give too much care on it because the middle of the map has been everything for a Wubbububs defensively. It comes through again, Brody, defensively. And although the first attempt on defense did not go their way, there's just not that much of coverage from AIM Esports in the middle of the map. Now, whether that comes through on losing the duel up top, because Cobra, at least through all the defensive showcase so far for Wubbububs, have always been up either in top church or bottom church with the boomstick itself, is shutting down any mid-map antics. It is buying so much space for Chaxter again to just frolic through the middle of the map and just keep AIM Esports trapped on either side of the map that they're trying to push.
Alrighty, well, Wubbububs have clawed their way back into this one. AIM Esports need to stop the bleeding, and they need to stop it ideally right about now, to be honest. Especially considering Brezzy is on 5 in a row. But right now, AIM, control of Church. Journey is probably their heaviest weapon. Chaxter's wise to it. He knows that someone might be approaching, and here we go. But Journey not going to win that gunfight. Chaxter makes the call.
In the middle of the map, battle again goes to a Wubbububs. Now that comes down to Yakko trying to rectify the issue that was the opening gunfights. Does well to find one on a Cobra. But Eric Boom was late to recognize, hey, my B flank is not being covered right now. That's going to be the immediate push again, and Wubbububs are going to get this bomb down.
Abuse him with the trade. Means that Yakko's left up. Last alive once again here. Just don't know the Brezzy. I mean, that's the best thing you can do here. 30 seconds left. Brezzy putting the shots into the back. And, well, yeah, you failed that objective. Brezzy gets his 7th kill. Glide bomb now on the board. And what is this, the 4th round in a row, I want to say, for a Wubbububs? 4th round on the bounce, I should say.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I was waiting for it in the last one. I saw the 3 rounds come through. I gave a little bit of space, and I was like, he's going to say the thing. He didn't say the thing.
I did it. I did it.
Four, sorry. I'm proud of you. 4 rounds in a row here for Wubbububs. And again, this is coming down to quick adaptations from their ARs, just making sure that Yakko, Eric Boom do not get away with highway robbery, even Journey as well for those first bloods. Cobra's keeping Super at least occupied, and well, Brezzy, as you said, was able to find that 7th kill. Glide bomb has been achieved. Now it just comes down to how do you want to utilize that.
Cobra trying to get snipes in towards top fire. To remove Super from the power position would be to remove quite a lot of power out the hands of AIM Esports, who, again, you can see them quite clearly bartering for a B push, but look at the amount the defensive pressure that's on them. Wobblebobs have both Abuser and Chaxter over here. And there we go. Chaxter looking for the first blood. Will not find it, but the trade is through from Abuser. And now you've got the sniper rifle of Cobra just keeping a close eye on those players.
Oh, it's just the angles, everything just being utilized here. Bomb being planted here today. How do you just try to retake this, especially with Yako inside of church? He might be able to catch the timings from up top. He sees 2 pings. He's going to try to catch one, but Brezzy with the pistol is just better. Oh, excuse me. Now Super trying to at least mitigate this damage. Challenges Cobra, finds the next, but the wall bang shots from Brezzy inside a top P5 will be there. I don't know how the hell Brezzy even walks away with that pistol kill, at least on the Yako. I thought that Yako had Brezzy dead to rights, but Brezzy's streak will remain intact. And a Wubblebub's round streak will also remain intact. They lost the first 3, answer back with immediate 5.
Scary if you're AIM. You've just lost 5 rounds in a row. You also lost map number 1. Got to remember here, overall context for this game, they are 3-2 right now in season number 4, and you just don't know what's going to happen. You lose both of your matches today, it puts quite a lot of pressure on what happens tomorrow. Fate might not be in their hands, but for a Wobblebobs, fate is most certainly in their hands. They win this, they basically guarantee a spot in the playoffs, and, well, Cobra are going to draw the first blood here in this one. Yako already down for the count. AIM find themselves at a disadvantage once again.
On Eric is going to play in a prone position. We know Wubblebubs, they love their B rotations. Cobra's going to now come join them. Eric gets hit with a stun, so now Wubblebubs know that Eric is playing in this position. Well, they're for sure going to know now as Brezzy's going to put the final nail in the coffin here with the glide bomb. It calls in for Chaxter to make the push. 2v4 for at least a defensive hold.
Cobra standing strong, doesn't care about being shot up by Eric Boom there, because Super is his target, and Super will be taken down.
Jeez.
Eric Boom 1v4, doesn't even get a look in. How about that for a bounce back and a momentum swing in the game? AIM Esports, 3 rounds in a row to kick things off, but a Wobblebobs, they answer back with 6 straight. And Brezzy, a massive part of that. Jesus.
I mean, his streak just doesn't end. It goes on 10 all the way through, 11-3 for Brezzy. And again, it's just one of those things that when you think about Brezzy, a lot of people were asking, well, where was Brezzy throughout Season 3 of the Elite ever since going back-to-back with Texas Nation back in Season 1 and 2? Obviously, that was when Brezzy was living in North America, competing with Texas Nation. They all get picked up and they go their separate ways. Brezzy's now back in the EU, is just waiting for the right pieces of the puzzle to make a championship caliber team. And it's through Search and Destroy through Seasons 1 and 2 that Brezzy kind of flew underneath the radar with some of the explosiveness that was that Texas Nation roster, especially with Havoc having his way. Kismet as a close second, but Brezzy was always that anchor, was always that cornerstone of an AR to Jordan General at the time for that Texas Nation roster, was constantly doing things like that. It's the smallest little adaptation that comes through from the ARs that deny Eric Boom so much point of interest, whether it's to the middle of the map, whether it's across that U side over by the A lane. That's that little bit of adaptation that comes through from an AR of Brezzy's caliber that finds those first bloods, that finds those returning gunfights, trying to catch these SMGs on rotation. That is just the mere catalyst, if you will, for a Wubblebubs to go on that 6-round stint in a row to be able to go up 2-0 in this series versus AIM nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it's little things, right? I mean, it's just like things that you make you super uncomfortable, excuse me. We talk about like Cobra, right? He's running the sniper rifle for pretty much all of that game, and he's in positions where you just don't expect him to be, right? I mean, I think there was one moment there towards I think it was round number 8, I want to say, where Cobra was making a challenge against one player inside maps with a sniper rifle. You don't expect stuff like that, and it's just really frustrating. But yeah, absolutely, Brezzy, star of the show there for Wubblebobs in game number 2, 11-3. 1,500 damage in S&D. Goodness me. And it's funny, right? Because we were having this conversation before we got into this one, or I think it was just before today, full stop, when we were in the green room earlier on, or the digital green room, we should say. It's like, would it be if in the hypothetical situation that Brezzy was able to win this season of Challengers Elite, would he be like the first player to win both European and North American Challengers Elite? We realized that he wasn't. It's technically speaking, Bickle has that accolade in his belt, obviously winning last season with Mavericks. But it still is, I think, quite impressive, isn't it, for Brezzy to come over from Texas Nation, be really awesome on that squad, and then to come in with his Challengers Elite debut here for Season 4 on this roster, and for them to do so well. I think it speaks volumes here about kind of the talent they have on this team.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pickup squad when you're thinking about it, right? I mean, you'd have Abuza and Brezzy towards the end of the Cold War season playing on a team called Belgian Power. At the very least, you do have at least some dynamicies there. But I mean, Chaxter coming into the mix is definitely something that, you know, a lot of question marks around what Chaxter has been able to do throughout the entire of the year. And even in certain teams where obviously it was in losing fashion, Chaxter was still, you know, putting in the work, just still trying to be that absolute annoyance of an SMG player that we have seen from Chaxter before. And hell, even on that map mode combination a few seasons ago, also had a nice little 1v4 clutch with the defuse. Chaxter has always fallen underneath the radar for sure to be able to be that piece of a puzzle for a team like this. And then Cobra, right? I mean, how many times have we casted over Cobra through the past 3 seasons of Challengers Elite? And we're like, wow, this guy's really good. It just feels like that he just needs that little bit of help to make it feel like that pressure is obviously there to join with Abuse of Brezzy and Chaxter. You really do feel like that this could be the run in that the shakeup could honestly be there for Challengers Elite that we've been waiting for continuously since season 1. And we've always felt like we've cycled through the same 4 teams over and over again. Now it's being beckoned now that you finally have that 15 working their way into the mix named the Wubba Bubs.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, I mean, to be fair, if we look back like season 1, Invincibles, back then, the originals, you know, they were in that mixer, right? And Moneyform weren't in. So I guess we've had a cycling of teams, if you will, a little bit. And even like Sucker's Bakery struggled to get inside the top 4 because I had Revenge Tour Brother. I'm not trying to pick up
was always there, but the top 3 was always there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think, you know, Europe has always been pretty stable with the teams. I think that much we can say, right, is that, yeah, Europe is absolutely really stable with the teams we expect to see at the top. And it is nice to see, I think, teams really, I mean, Invincibles have really started to pick up the pace over the last day or so. And as you say, now you've got this Wubba Bobs roster that have come out of nowhere and are absolutely challenges. Again, it's kind of like, to me, it reminds me very much of what we saw from Amelia Strays last season. Like, this is full Amelia Strays vibes, and Chaxter was on that roster as well. So, yeah, you know, I think this roster certainly has a lot of potential. They're showing it right now versus AIM, and they are making this AIM roster feel very uncomfortable. Because as I mentioned there in that Search and Destroy, they are 3-2 right now. They go 3-3, and fate might not be in their hands come the final week of Challengers Elite for Season 4. So a lot of questions that need answering, I think, for AIM, but they really need a reverse sweep to make themselves feel a little bit more comfortable going into that final week of play. Nonetheless, though, we're going to a match right now between Team War and Katana Gaming. And Katana Gaming 1-0 lead, I see right now?
Yeah, it is, man. They won that first map on Gavutu versus Team War by a whopping 14 points. They're 2-1 up here in the Tuscan Search and Destroy as well. Offensive attempt coming through for Katana. Puts a little bit more focus in the middle of the map. And Jaka does well to shut down Wardy's min-map antics that we know he loves to be able to find for themselves. And that kind of puts a nice little pin in Team War's defense that they all just have to play super stagnant for now.
Yeah. Bit of a stalemate at the moment here on Tuscan. And with a life advantage in favor of Katana Gaming, they don't want to be the ones to fake the first move. Might have to. Harry, just going to back away for the moment. The shot's going in, but it is all but a warning shot here. Ross J attempted to make his way through. Maple in for the punishment, though. 3v3 we go. Now for Katana Gaming, you just need to get control of the bomb site, and there's the kill versus Maple. That should do it.
But just look at him. I mean, the bomb carrier Footsie did not just drop down because they know that the middle of the map isn't immediately looked at because Keza is down low. So has to take the time to come back through the ruin side, try to play it over here at A, but has a bot Denza enough time to be able to shut this push down? Well, maybe not, because Keza, again, bottom side of church, finds the first, knows that Harry needs to challenge it again, and Keza through the middle of the map makes the play happen to be able to shut down any 2v odd antics that War were trying to put together.
Look, I mean, we're just going to bounce out of that game. I'm just going to say, like, there's a hypothetical world here where Katana Gaming beat Team War, and I honestly don't know what's happening today anymore. I genuinely, I think I might be done for today. Yeah, it's crazy. It is really crazy what's happening at the moment. But regardless, we're going back towards AIM Esports and Wubba Bob's AIM. They now need a reverse sweep in the series, and it all starts with a Berlin control. They're kicking things off on the offense here, and they should be able to capture B. Oh, Brezzy. That's disgusting.
Not to continuously talk about the Brezzy hype train that I was on walking away from the Tuscan Search and Destroy, but Berlin has always been their playground, especially through seasons 1 and 2 of the Elite here in North America. Journey will finally shut them down, finally get themselves out of that. A little bit of a spawn trap that was starting to put together for themselves, but Super's also making the play going forward. Top third here in Fire. A lot of trust needs to come through that their teammates are going to be able to make that push happen through the front side of A, of which nothing comes up in AIM's favor.
And this is a really stressful situation, I think, for AIM. They're down by a ton of lives at the moment. They don't have map control. And actually, as I say it, Yakko, Journey, Super, they all win their ones. That'll give them a ton of breathing room, and Abuser will fall as well. So AIM Esports, they have a straight shot towards the A point now. Got to make the best of this situation. Got to get some ticks of progression. Even one would be nice, but maybe you could get the whole damn thing. Eric Boom wins one. Yakko with another one. This is 6 or 7 kills straight. Finally, we see some resistance coming out from Wobblebobs, but that life disparity that I was talking about, it's disappeared.
Yeah, it's completely evaporated right now. It's 8v8. A whole set of respawns versus each other, but the clock's still being stalled out here in 1:06. Jackster needs to make the play. And a little bit of weirdness coming through that little mantle play, but we'll finally stop that progress from coming through. We'll find yet another through that side door. 5v5, just under a minute left.
Super still going for this one. Nade on towards Jackster, the kill on towards Cobra as well. That will most certainly open things up. They only need one tick, by the way, so a couple of kills and a stack would most certainly do it. And Wobblebobs, they've got a disadvantage naturally now. A 3 versus 4, 3 versus 5 overall. Jackster going to draw things up, though. Gets the field versus Eric Boom. Trade in from Yakko, so 2v4 now for Abuser and Jackster. Jackster in from behind. The secret weapon. He's able to get one. Doesn't quite count for Eric Boom coming off the spawn. Can Abuser get away after that one kill? He does. But does he recognize where these last 2 players are? Has to outsmart them. Might just run right into the trap here. Doesn't spot out either of the players. And oh, that's so tough. Just didn't see him.
We've all been there, right? I mean, you're just full on tack spreading inside of one zone. Desperation is in there. 1v2 is probably tunnel vision, at least onto that back window that leads towards the dub steps. But Super's head was poking out over by the first desk. Does not spot him out. Would have been a colossal 1v2. Stop that offensive push from coming through. But AIM Esports are able to do it. They're off of kills. They're able to get themselves 5 segments worth of progression, which is massive for that ever so wanted round 5. But Wobblebobs now, the first mark needs to be answered. They also have to get an offense on the board.
They do. Straight towards B they go. They've sent one more mid player towards A to try and cause some havoc. Journey, though, 2 crucial 1v1 engagements to win. And that should slow things down. But Brezzy was that player over towards A. He has been shut down as well. So for AIM, they're feeling pretty confident about how this round has gone thus far. They still don't technically have any players in and around the mailroom. They're just being uber cautious that no players slip the net and make their way towards train station. Looks like Jackster could try and put something together. But for Wobblebobs, now they want to capture B.
Oh, timing from Eric. Not going to be good to be able to get in towards the back. Would have been a colossal flank event to maybe try to put together itself. Yakko's still zoning players away, so, you know, he's not going to give up this position because it's going to force all of Wobblebobs to spawn over by water. So, again, the trust needs to be there. That AIM Esports, the 3 players that they do have for themselves, can break back through the front, and it's just not coming through. Yakko finally going to come in from behind. Timing, not going to be great. Just will reveal their positioning. That last segment should be coming through, unless, no, just not quick enough. Off the gunfight, Yakko will take down Cobra, but all these transitional gunfights from Wobblebobs are setting themselves up quite nicely to try to work on that first segment today.
Yeah, this is really promising from Wobblebobs. You've now got the streak coming through from Abuser. Brezzy trying to catch these guys off the spawn, and he won't be able to, but it's just the pressure right now. It's the tick progression. It's everything that Wobblebobs could possibly want, and now they're starting to attack the point as well. They're really starting to apply the pressure from AIM. A nade from Eric Boom removes Abuser from the situation, but look at the Wobblebobs roster. Looking for the second tick. Haven't quite secured it just yet, but Cobra with 2. Brezzy with another one as well. Surely we do not see this response coming out from Wobblebobs. Eric Boom trying to fly on through. He's not able to. Somebody from AIM should be able to touch, surely, and no, that's not happening. Look at that. Offense for offense. It's ball in control. Wobblebobs making it interesting.
Sure will, and they did it off a segment progression as well, so they'll have that 1 segment lead. Quickly take a look at Katana Gaming, threatening to go up 2-0 over Team War. Denza on a goose egg of all things, and it's going to be Keza to find that last kill. Required works their way in, gets the defuse. Katana Gaming going up 2-0 versus Team War. In an emphatic search and destroy 6-1 win. That's insane.
Worrying, isn't it, for War? I mean, I know we're kind of in a relatively similar situation here where we've got this Wobblebobs roster 2-0 up against AIM, but it is a little bit concerning, isn't it, for that War roster. If they lose that one, it puts them in a bit of a outrageous position. But regardless, back on towards AIM here for the offense. We'll see how they get on. It's a little bit less convincing, but Eric Boom making the transition towards A. And I tell you what, this could be an explosive start of the round.
Needs to be, just as emphatic of an answer of what Wubba had for their previous offense from AIM Esports, putting themselves on the board. The same needs to be put together here for AIM Esports, but the returning gunfights just that much better. Chaxter, Brezzy, Abusa all showing up at the kill feed. It's only Super to be able to find at least one. You're able to at least walk away with one segment of progression over towards A. Now you should be able to at least take this little win that you have for yourself and try to get yourself over towards B, because you know Wubba are going to be reeling from those initial gunfights.
Here they are, that one hit of progression on towards A is going to be concerning. Super starting to chain together kills as well. The second versus Cobra there. B should now fall by the wayside, but look at this coming through from AIM. They've already made that transition over towards A. Journey wins the gunfight that should close out things on B, and now the pressure really starting to be felt now. Eric Boom going to open things up with a kill on towards Chaxter. Is the appropriate response in from the Wubba team? Oh, no. Not if Journey has anything to say about it. He picks up 2. Looking for number 3 with the gunfight inside fire. Does get shut down, but look at this. They are a smidge away from capturing Zone A. Wubba they're looking for their final stand, and Cobra comes through, picks up 2. They will not fall here.
Oh, not quite yet. That last segment will be depleted as well. You're still down by 6 lives if you are Wubba, but that could quickly get mitigated if you continuously find these gunfights and deny any sort of entry from AIM Esports. Super actually gave away their positioning. Was Abuser that saw them across that very interesting line of sight across the glass window, but won't be able to find themselves a point of entry coming in through the side door. And now you have yourself a little bit of a spawn trap starting to set in, but you got to respect the discipline that's coming through from Wubba. Nobody is flying in towards their spawn. They're just playing rather stationary and waiting for AIM Esports to inevitably push into them.
Yeah, I respect it for sure. You don't want to get overzealous here. Could be the thing that catches you off guard. Again, they've only really got one chance before AIM stack on towards the point, and the gunfight's now starting to go in their favor. Cobra getting over aggressive in towards Train. He is shut down, and now Abuser has so much to do here. He's on his own here for a moment. Looking for some more gunfights. Gets shut down by Eric Boom, and that might well be it. Can anybody from Wubba touch? Brezzy and Cobra with the players closest. Now just the former, as Cobra is shut down. But it's a little bit disconcerting that AIM are able to get in this position, and now Yakko might be the player to shut this one down. But no, Abuser reads it, and now we go 8v6 still in favor of AIM.
That 7-life lead is quickly falling away. Now has it. It's still 2-life lead. Wubba down to their final respawn. This needs to be the push you would feel like for AIM Esports, but Chaxter is still down low inside of Pillars, giving Eric Boom a little bit of run for their money, and that's going to allow Cobra to be able to find a timing. There was no middle of the map covered so far, and if it was, Super was looking at the dub steps, so Cobra's going to put themselves in this corner, try to cut players on the rotation, try to get themselves up, but now you're just down as far as respawns are concerned. 3v7, 25 seconds.
Super, he had predicted Cobra in that position, but Cobra going to win out anyway. Now 2v6, 1v6 for Chaxter. This is going to be a tough one. He doesn't get that second kill versus Yakko, and yet again, another offense here. Yeah, we should say, if you're going to win offenses anywhere in Control and Call of Duty Vanguard, it's going to be on Berlin, but that doesn't take away from the achievement here that we're seeing from both AIM and Wubba. AIM are coming out with a fire here in map number 3.
They really are, but it still needs to be talked about that Wubba were able to win their offensive round off of segment progression. AIM Esports were putting themselves in continuous points to be able to maybe try to close it out with segment progression there a few pushes ago, but they went off of kills back-to-back rounds. It is 10v6 as far as segments are concerned. That it is very hard, I will say that much, for Wubba to be able to put together the same amount of offense that we saw in their previous attempt, winning off a segment progression. But if they do that, they put themselves on defense. But I don't even know if you want it at this point with the way that both these teams have been playing offense already.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I was going to say, you were talking about kind of that round number 5 defense. Is that even a factor at this point?
I don't think it is.
The way that these two teams are playing Berlin Control, yeah, I don't think it is at all. But regardless, you know, we'll see how it goes. AIM Esports now looking to try and push their way out towards B. They pushed the boat out far enough that Wubba will spawn towards the back boathouse. They're going to get straight on towards B. They want to get this one safely done and dusted and then make their move over towards A. But the gunfight's most certainly going in Wubba favor for now. That nade that we saw from Super when he was still alive will land right at the head of Brezzy and take him down. Now you can start to see these AIM players really try to reposition here to retake B. They're not able to do it. Eric Boom shut down in the back as well. Journey, though, this is what? The second time we saw it, I swear we saw this exactly in this exact same manner on the last offensive attempt from Wubba. He's going to be able to clear B. And away with a player sent towards A is shut down as well. So for Wubba here, you want to make this classic push to B, but you got to clear out Journey. He is sitting here at the moment.
Oh, Abuser! Well, actually, challenge. I thought Journey was going to walk away with that gunfight for sure. I feel like I'm saying that so many times for Abuser in the previous, 10 gunfights that they got into, 24 and 19 for the kid. But recontest comes back through 23 seconds. AIM Esports looking to close it out here.
Well, that distraction play from Brezzy will mean that Wobblerbobs should have the space to capture B, but they've spread themselves out. They're not stacking the point. They want to make the transition from B to A. It's a massive risk to take, especially because they haven't actually cleared all their angles. Journey now coming in from behind, able to take down one. It's a problem. You don't have control of your spawn. You've got perhaps one player that's pushed very far up. That's Chaxter. He has actually been spotted out. And as soon as he gets this gunfight, you've got to imagine that reaction is there from Super. But the extra 60 seconds have been added to the clock now for a Wobblerbobs, and at least there is that to talk about.
You got to take a look at the lives as well, Brody. That a Wobblerbobs need to play this damn near flawlessly. Can't lose too many lives along the way. Brezzy understands that, finds himself some timing, gets in from behind. But you're okay with this if you are AIM Esports. Yeah, Journey's going to be late to maybe try to recognize this, but you already have Super that's all the way in the bottom right side of the minimap. That's going to continuously force a Wobblerbobs all the way to spawn up towards water. Chaxter helps out inside of fire. Will take down Journey top third. Now the push is starting to solidify itself, but you need this pinch to come through, and a Wobblerbobs cannot successfully get out from their spawn.
Brezzy still has so much to do here. Again, you haven't cleared out those players from Train. So he could well be the playmaker, and I think AIM are well aware of the fact that somebody is on the flank. Where is he, though? That's the question. He's going to pounce on towards Journey. Cobra able to win one on the other side, though. This needs to kind of be flawless, and, well, there you go. Secret weapon has been removed from the play. 5v11 now, 25 seconds left on the clock here for AIM Esports to win this one out and force a game number 4. No respawns remaining. Wobblebob sent back to the respawn point in a 3 versus 9. And this needs to be perfect now from Wobblebob's Journey. Trying to play out on towards the outer edge, and now it's just Chaxter in a 1 versus 8. He's able to pick up the first kill with 10 seconds left. This is going to need to be a nuclear play. Gets the first, can't get the second, though. Super shuts him down, and AIM Esports, they're going to win this one 3-1. They survive.
Yeah, keeping their heads above water in this best of 5 series so far. It's going to have to be a full-on reverse sweep if they want to be able to take this series and knock down a Wobblerbobs a certain peg and keep Destiny within their control for AIM Esports for playoff contention. But all that aside, I mean, you got to really respect how AIM Esports kind of fell into a shade of their Season 1 self, right? When they were still undefeated for Control throughout the entirety until they reached playoffs when they ended up losing to that Originals roster on Tuscan. But even more so than that, they were able to recognize one of the biggest issues that did plague them through Wobblerbob's offense when they were able to win off a segment progression. And that was just a simple fact that we just gave way too much map positioning away for Wobblerbobs for free. Kind of funny because that's actually what ended up hurting them more often through that Tuscan Search and Destroy. But they reactivate themselves. You start seeing a little bit more of a proactive play coming through from players like Eric Boom throughout that Train side when the initial B zone was completely tacked on over. Super getting a little bit more pokey through the middle of the map. And then you also had Yako that was proactively off a respawn. If there wasn't already a player pushed up very far forward, although they only dropped a 20 and 23 KD ratio, it was still the pressure that was always there defensively in that final round for AIM Esports to never allow Wobblerbobs to be able to win gunfights as convincingly as they did to be able to get themselves so much map coverage in their initial offense.
Well, Wobblebob's not able to get it done there. You can kind of see it in our stat lines at the end of the game. Chaxter definitely tried the highest performing player on the Wobblebobs, but AIM Esports, they looked really good, and they're able to survive there at the end of game number 3. We will be seeing a Tuscan hardpoint in this series, and of course, you got to remember, going back to that Bacage hardpoint, although it is at the end of the day Bacage, it was a really close one up until that final kill, so well, we'll see how it goes, but I'm sure we're going to be in for a great game number 4. Before we get there, we're going to send to a very short break. When we return, we're going to have that game number 4 here between Wobblebobs and AIM. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, guys, we're back here with Call of Duty Challengers Elite. We're coming back a little bit faster than we otherwise would do because we have got a news flash for you folks at home. Team War could be about to lose their ticket to playoffs if they lose to Katana Gaming here. Not only are Katana 2-0 up in this best of 5, but they're now 2-0 up in the control.
Just look at the numbers from top to bottom from Team War. I mean, this is an uncharacteristic map when you're thinking about it. Wardy only has 16 engagements on a Berlin control. I mean, Footsie is just running around with him. Yeah, 16-6, 14-7 for Rokkr, 13-7 for Keza. Good heavens. Katana Gaming is the real flippin' deal today here for Season 4 round robin play. But need to make something happen here. If you are Team War, a full hold would be massive for any sort of momentum to try to keep yourself in this series. And, well, to be quite frank, in this control.
Now they want to grab B. One player, Rokkr, going to be taken down over towards the train flat. So now Footsie, the last player inside. Denza, 5 in a row. Really starting to heat up here in this game. You can get these streaks. It will be a good way to get back into the game, I think, overall. But Rokkr's going to clear things out over towards train platform. And I think for Katana Gaming out. You might be tempted to make your way over towards A, but that might be a bit of a fallacy. Just need to be careful here in this game. Just 30 seconds left on the clock. Footsie going to fall inside broken, so Team War have actually quite a bit of map control here to speak of. There is only one tick of progression inside B for Katana Gaming, and the kill feed is Wars as well. 20 seconds left. Rokkr now the last one left up alive. What can you do in this situation? Looking for the kill versus Denza. He gets shut down. 15 seconds now. Somebody from Katana get on this point.
Hey, they need to, desperately. I don't even know if they can. I mean, you do have at least one player laying prone down low. It's going to be Keza, but to be cleaned up here momentarily. Jaka still trying to play for this top balcony position. We'll find Maple, so hold on a second. Third tick is actually being worked its way up here, and if you are Team War, yeah, you chalk this. No reason to try to throw more lives away. You still have an 8-life lead with an A-zone defense, but you already got Rokkr from behind.
Rokkr looking to do some damage. Also got more players in behind as well. Keza and Footsie not far away. I think War are probably aware of where these players are coming from, considering they've got players pushed all the way up inside the spawn. Harry, kind of useless at the moment. He's just basically in a 1v1 against Rokkr. Rokkr keeping an eye out for him. Keeping on that gunfight, and Rokkr actually wins that one. So that's one player removed from a very potent position. But elsewhere, gunfight's going down inside train. Keza now on the flank will activate. If you take down Wardy, this could be a really promising moment overall. But still, this is a really tough position to be in. 9 versus 17. 30 seconds on the clock.
Hey, this is your last push when you're thinking about it. So Rokkr needs to get in from behind again. The push needs to be successful from the front. Footsie takes down Denza, but now you need this pinch to come through. If you're Rokkr, Wardy reads it, shuts it down. The kills from the front, just too good. Bleeding in red for Team War. It's up to Keza now to make a heroic effort to maybe try to touch the zone last moment. He will get on with 9.4 seconds remaining, but again, your teammates need to somehow work their way out from their spawn, and even if you do, I think the numbers are just way too strong for Team War to be able to win this defense. Must needed. They gave away the B zone, but judging how the first 2 rounds went, I can only imagine Team War are probably going to have to win multiple offenses.
Yeah, that round to me wasn't the challenge, right? Because you're on defense there, you kind of expect to win that one. It's the next round that I'm concerned about when it comes to Team War. Obviously, again, you know, as we mentioned it, we just saw a Berlin control there between AIM and Bob. So we've already mentioned to you guys at home that Berlin control is the map you're going to win offenses on. If you're going to win any here in Call of Duty Vanguard on control. All now need to do it. Force a game number 5. Let you guys know. AIM versus Bobs has begun. We'll keep you guys updated with that one as we just want to close things out here with Katana Gaming and Team War. For Team War, straight towards B they go. They only, technically speaking, have to deal with one. They put quite a lot of stock into A there.
Yeah, they really have, right? I mean, if you're Maple, what do you do from this position as you are the island player over towards A? He's actually buying a lot of time. That Footsie actually gives up his B retake situation to try to deal with Maple, who caused a lot of distress over here, and he finds a kill. You couldn't ask for a more flawless start for Team War on their offensive attempt. They don't even lose a single life, and they'll get 60 seconds added onto the board.
Still starting to come through from Katana Gaming, though. They're not willing to lose A just yet. Kez has managed to get through to try and shut down Maple. Maple still alive here. B has fallen by the wayside. Katana Gaming starting to fall apart here in this control at the seams. They've got players in power positions. Rokkr has just spotted out Denza in the middle of the map. That call should be made that somebody has to go and deal with him. Of course, there are also War players that have got past square one and they're starting to find their way in towards train as well. But that is the tough bit. 2 minutes on the clock. There is a wealth of time to make this one work, and the kill starting to come through from War.
was really starting to come all the way through, but I mean, Katana at least mitigated that opening assault that was Team War. Making lines just within 2. But the map positioning isn't there. I mean, typically defensively, you're trying to get a player down where Maple just crossed through. That's going to force everybody to spawn up towards top water. So now if you're Katana, you really have to watch all sorts of different angles, and Ross J's going to get caught with a timing. Harry actually commits towards that flank. That's going to call Jaka back towards this A defense, and that means the push from the front for War is that much more potent.
Yeah, they've got in as well. This is a stressful situation here for Katana Gaming. Keza trying to
no.
make this happen from behind. He gets shut down. Ross J falls as well. We might well be looking at a game, or round number 5 here, excuse me. Bootsy trying to hold on. Denza taking shots from the side. Jokka just looking to contest by the smallest of inches. Bootsy falls as well. These guys trying to filter on through. Just one tick of aggression is all that's required. Maple is still here. Harry's still in the vicinity as well. You've spotted out Keza outside, and Maple slaps him down. You could still make it on the point, but again, more concerning, a 17 versus 10 life advantage. This has been a battering here in round number 4.
It's Superman punches, and then there's a Superman pistol whip of what Maple just showcased on the screen. That was absurd. Wardy is able to find 2 in the middle of the map, constantly cycling players out from these positionings. They're whittling down the numbers, Brody. You can play the trade game. Just make sure you keep that clock stalled out, and that's exactly what Team War will able to find for themselves. But the flank is opened up. Keza's able to find a timing in from behind, so that it'll slowly start working down this clock just under a minute or so. But you only have 2 respawns remaining. You damn well need to play this ball, so if you're Katana.
Could wind down the time, but I would just try and sit in beggy corners. That's it. What I would
exactly.
do right now. Yeah, sit yourself in creddy corners. Be annoying as hell. That's what Keza is going to do, but War are going to check every single corner you have to imagine on their journey towards train. Maybe Keza can catch his players off guard. It's all about timing. Does he get it in his favor? They're being uber cautious about players coming on the flank at the moment, and Keza's now making the noise. The first 2 shots do go in, but the kill is not there. And Denza now got to bring the glide bomb down. They know they have to do it. 30 seconds has been wasted, and now 30 seconds all that's on the clock, but that advantage is really horrible for Katana Gaming. Now in a 3 versus 10. They had players coming on the flank. 1 player all the way there. Ross J picks up 2 players in on the point. Team War force us to a round number 5.
Yeah, I mean, you made the call wonderfully, right? We saw Denza able to get that streak over by the mill staircase defensively, but even more so than that, you have to call in the glide bomb right then and there, because if you try to win that just with gunfights alone, there's a very likely chance that your game and your day here for Team War is all but over. So you want to make sure that at least you force out this round number 5. That exactly comes through, but it's got to be talked about when Denza starts pushing through the concourse like that. Does have some help there from Wardy, who was pushing away over by the doorways inside of the train station itself to make sure that all players more or less stayed alive, and Team War are just continuing on with the momentum head full of steam that they had in their previous offense here on the final.
Picture look, by the way, aim. And Wobble Bob's currently the former up in a very close hard point. We said that one would be close, and again, just to give you guys a little update on how that one is going to go down. Wobble Bob's 2-1 up in the overall series. They win the map. They will be moving forward 5-1 and basically guaranteeing a spot in playoffs. But back to this one. Look at the dual progress being made right now by Team War. Denza inside A, trying to cause all sorts of problems. Wardian from behind now as well gets turned on by Rosh J. It's okay. That was a bit of a tough one to win, especially with a couple of players to deal with. But you know what? For War, massive win to start this round out. They have a huge life advantage, and B has already fallen.
Exactly. I mean, all those like 2v-odd, then 1v-odd situations over by A was just a bait, right? Because you just wanted to make sure that you at least had Denza, if not somebody else, over by the B zone, attack over that extra 60 seconds. You have a 6-life lead if you are Team War. You can build off of this. You have Denza in the backside of fire. He might be looking for a couple of spawn kills. But you have to somehow deal with Ross J, who's inside of the offices and is just piecing together kills like that.
Denza tried to make that jump through the window again. What was it? We saw him the other day do that in another match. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was balloon control. Have to look back at our records, but it was definitely Denza just flying through the window, and that seems like exactly what we're seeing again here as War continuing to send players on the flank, but they are going to go for a full frontal approach here. Denza making his way through the side door, trying to preempt every single corner, but it doesn't matter. Wins that gunfight versus Keza regardless. The trades ultimately in favor of Team War, and the numbers ultimately in favor as well. The progression starting to come through now. They deal with Rosh J, and Katana Gaming have no choice but to try and approach this one from the front. The odds of winning this one in a 3-0 fashion starting to slip away from them. Jokka to take down Wardy though. A big gunfight still, 19 versus 11. Rosh J on the flank, taking down 1. Still 1 more player to deal with around the point. That is going to be Harry, and he is wiped out. So now 90 seconds here, 16v10.
Again, you can just play the trade game like what we saw in their previous offense for Team War. You just got to be able to play the trades, find yourself on the zone when it's applicable, but don't overextend yourself. Don't give Katana an opportunity to be able to find these isolated gunfights and work their way back in towards a round. 16v19, you have Footsie trying to work their way through the middle of the map, trying to catch players on rotation, but unbeknownst to them, Wardy has already worked their way in towards the backside of fire. He's made his presence felt. He takes down Rokkr from behind, but still, no one has checked that Footsie's on this fight.
Footsie now needs to be effective here. You cannot not get anything. Gets the first, looking for the second. Footsie actually gets 2 inside the kill feed. Rokkr to take him down, but does that really matter? That's the question. They clear the point. 60 seconds now. There's still a wealth of time, and we feel right now, I mean, look at the position that Katana Gaming in. It's very similar to what we saw in the last round, right? 4v12, 45 seconds or so left on the clock. Team War, they've got 2 or 3 hits at this. Will this be the one that gets them the dub? Keza is putting together a flank. We need to keep that in mind. Now Maple going to draw that first blood of the engagement versus Footsie. Rokkr going to fall as well. Keza, he finally activates himself in the flag. Joker in the point, but Team War, 3 rounds in a row. We cast a curse them by jumping on board. Katana Gaming will not close things out in a 3-0 fashion. They will need to go to a hard point if they want to get it done.
I mean, you say that we cast or curse them, but I think this might just be a stream team. I mean, Team War, they get completely... They get eliminated over in Toronto to that La 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 team in map number 5. They're losing maps in a row continuously. We see them heat up when they get put on stream, and well, then we get to watch the end of their match, and they're able to bounce back and reverse sweep in the control, and that might set themselves up a reverse sweep maybe in the series. We'll have to take a look at that map series later on, but in towards this map number 4 between the Wubbabubs and the AIM Esports. The Wubbabubs very much so still up on map point. They got themselves a little bit of a lead going through P4. AIM Esports will be in for the time being, but you still have at least a handful of more players for Wubbabubs to deal with in the back.
Akko trying to play his life, does actually get shut down here. So Wubbabubs in towards the back, as you say. Now they need to convert this in towards hill time because AIM starting to find their way back in, starting to look to take the lead away from Wubbabubs. And those Wubbabubs players need to find their way in from the back right about now. Abuser and Brezzy, they're the ones to get this one done. Abuser's going to fall. Cobra in from the side as well for a 2, but Brezzy does end up falling. Eric Boom just being a nuisance at the moment, playing his life. That's 3 in a row for Eric Boom. Yakko with 2 as well. And AIM will hold for the last 15 to 20 seconds of scrap time here. They're looking to force this one in towards a game number 5, and Journey with a crucial rotational battle as well.
Yeah, this is massive. Now Journey just needs to hold because he knows that reinforcements are coming down from radio. That's going to be super, and he turns to absolutely burn. Abuser has one more on a Cobra. The trade will be there, but you still have to worry about Journey, who's inside the hard point. He's going to give it up for now. That means that Eric Boom off the respawn will be at least allocated to be able to hold for some time, but you need to be able to deal with these Wubbabub players as they're trying to set themselves up for nades to get into the patio side.
AIM Esports, really good rotation for them now about holding it. Journey and Eric Boom going to open up things up with their kills. The trade's going to be still in favor of AIM Esports. One more wave of gunfights. They're sending us to a game number 5. A Wubbabub starting to put together a flanking from behind. Cobra, the player to get it done. Gets the first kill versus Super. Inside, though, nobody able to get this one done. Eric Boom with the kills. Can Chaxter from down low do it? He is going to fall. Journey with 2 to try and secure. Somebody has to touch. You've got the glide bomb ready to go from Chaxter. It's just not that effective. Wubbabubs, they will be in. 10 seconds, though. AIM still have a couple of options as to how they want to end this, and Yakko could do it on the scrap time with a 1v1 versus the Cobra. He's going to win the gunfight. AIM looking to send us to a game of 5, but they can't do it. They don't get the
glide.
Chaxter with the glide bomb. Has to land perfectly. Has to land now. Gets the kill versus Super, and finally somebody from AIM touches. We're going to a game 5.
A lot of oxygen in your body there, Brody. Oh my god. I don't know how.
I didn't know I had that much.
That makes 2 of us. But apparently, what AIM had within themselves was to constantly just berate hardpoints. When we hopped back in towards this matchup between these two teams, we immediately got to see one clear-cut showcasing coming through from AIM Esports, and that was just, again, the activation from the SMGs, what was seemingly missing consistently through that map number 1 on Bocage. There on Tuscan, we had everybody from AIM, at least when we hopped in, just absolutely playing lights out. There was not a single player, I mean, besides Super just going a dead even 1, that went positive for AIM Esports, but they were fighting the crucial gunfights. They were fighting themselves those entry points, those entry eliminations, and then there were the setups continuously to deny Wubbabubs to slowly work their way back in. When you take a look from top to bottom, Chaxter had themselves a whale of a game. He went 33-24 with 3,500 damage. Cobra 26-24, 29-24. If you just look at the KDs, you would immediately assume that Wubbabubs probably walked away with this game itself. But when the majority of your hardpoint time is coming through from Abusa with only 6 kills, 6 of their 18 inside of the objective itself, it's just not enough productivity inside the hardpoint itself. This is almost like the same thing that I talked about in that map number 1 between these two teams, but now it's on the opposite side. 13, 11, and 11 objective kills for Yakko Journey and Eric Boom, respectfully. It's just how much more success they were having within the hill, specifically when we hopped on board.
Can I just say as well here, very briefly, that that map number 4 ended almost exactly how map number 1 did. Again, we didn't get to see basically how the everything prior to that map or that final hardpoint went. Of course, we saw AIM taking control of Church, but for all we know, it could have been a super close game where you super back and forth, neck and neck throughout the entirety of the game. But again, it was that final hardpoint control coming through from AIM where they were able to get it done. Brilliant rotation for them to close things out, and a 50-point advantage will do it. That will send us to a game number 5 here between AIM Esports and Wobbabobs. It is going to be electric again. So much on the line for these matches right now. For Wobbabobs looking for qualification. They win this one. They basically get it done for playoffs. Before we get there, though, we're going to go to a quick break. When we return, we've got game number 5 between these two teams. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody, here to Call of Duty Challengers Elite. It's time for yet another game, number 5, between AIM Esports and Wobbabobs again, to show you guys what's on the line right now. The former team currently looking really to survive for a chance, make their way in towards playoffs. If Wobbabobs win this one, though, Andy, they're actually going to make it.
Yeah, they'll solidify themselves for sure with those head-to-heads with that series overall. Take a look at the bomb being planted here at B for the time being. Journey's also able to find themselves a very nice timing to be able to keep top mail clear for themselves, and now it's just about holding the line, just making sure that nobody works their way in towards that B hut.
Indeed. Journey. For one of these players. Oh, gets caught off guard there by Chaxter. So 2v2 we go. The bomb's still down, though, for Abuser and Chaxter. This retake needs to quicken the pace. Chaxter opens the window. Going to throw the nade in, but not going to be able to catch that player off guard. But has spotted out Yakko. Can he get the kill? Yakko surely just going to run away here, and Yakko plays it perfectly. The kill coming in from the melee for Abuser. Yakko wins both gunfights as well. That's a nice way to close out the round.
Chaxter not greased up enough to be able to slip through that window. Had that damage on Yakko, but really did feel like that kill was going to be coming through, and Yakko just throws hands and immediately snaps over towards the water building, just immediately able to find that trade. I mean, the time was just too far gone. You really feel like for that 2v3 and the retake, the kills did come through, but game clock ticking all the way down is going to be your immediate problem. AIM Esports, Yakko, bomb carrier and all, finds themselves 3 kills in that round, Brody, just finessing around that B hut quite wonderfully. An offensive round to speak of. First round here in this map, number 5. Again, AIM Esports working for that reverse sweep.
People are going to be keeping an eye here on the rotation to beat. And he catches the first player off guard. Eric Boone with another one as well. This is a very good round coming out from AIM. Much more convincing than what we saw in the last. Cobra and Abuser now. Yeah. Abuser 1v4. Yep, he's cooking up a nade special. See you in round number 3.
So long. And it's just doing super things, isn't it? You know, if it's not Eric Boom with an SMG, it's going to continuously be super. Either with a sniper, an AR, I don't even... Super could probably do it with a pistol across the map of Berlin for all I care. This is literally his playground. He's sitting at a 1.73 KD, 4 search and destroy. 73% of the time he's getting in a first blood engagement on this very day, Brody. He's winning them. He's winning those first blood engagements. And the same could be said for Eric, who's just shortly behind them. But again, it just comes down to Berlin. You got to deal with the AR pressure. You got to somehow deal with the boomstick that's being brought out. And if it's not one of those two things, well, it's probably going to be the SMGs. AIM Esports have all corners squeaky clean.
And for Chaxter to get the bomb down over towards... Stop the bomb from going down over towards B, excuse me. Pretty good start. He's already inside that site, and I think that might be the difference maker here in this round if Wobbabobs do end up getting the win. I swear, though, Super looking for the first blood. I found somebody over towards Patio if he did look in that direction, but decided against it. He's trying to keep an eye on Docs as they want to get the bomb down over towards B. But you can see right now, you know, you talk about the defense. This is a very split defensive hold here from Wobbabobs, and, well, it's not going to work. Brezzy going to fall. Now already, the numbers. Oh, Super takes Cobra's head clean off. Abuser 1v4. Get your nade out, mate.
And there he goes. I mean, again, you know, the passive setup, it's respectable for Wobbabobs when you're thinking about it. You wait for the engagements to come to you because clearly AIM Esports are wanting to dictate the pace of the search and destroy through the rounds and the information that they're able to find for themselves. And, well, they have done it 3 rounds in a row. Super gets information, goes for the rechow, and is able to rip the head off of Cobra clean off. You almost have to feel like Cobra might have to bring the sniper just to deal with the pressure that Super's continuously finding across the map. But it's got to be talked about. Map number 2, AIM Esports did win the first 3 rounds of the Wobbabobs won 6 straight. It needs to be said.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't want to say it, but
I'm
not saying anything at this point
happened.
in time. AIM Esports could not let that happen again. Need something more decisive here. A 4th round might be the thing that they desire. Yakko's going to draw the first blood. Trade in from Chaxter. Still get the bomb down here, but just being uber cautious. Eric Boom is technically still in the vicinity. Could still cause some damage, but the bomb going down.
Puts away the boomstick. Is trying to work the way towards back beams. Abuser from range. I mean, that was a snap and a half at range. Now it's Brezzy, 1v2 in a post plant. Finds at least 1. That's the trade on the Super. But they're not going to be able to find much of anything, trying to recross their way back in for AIM Esports and a Wobbabobs. Brezzy able to piece it together, just playing the corners here of the staircase. Catches Eric Boom, who probably assumed that Brezzy might have just escaped through secret, maybe tried to get themselves back up through dubsteps, but does not end up coming through. Wobbabobs keep their heads above water. They stop the bleeding that AIM Esports were putting together through the first 3. I feel like I've said that before in this best of 5.
I don't want to say anything about the search and destroy at this point. Just like, with how that game number 2 went, there is more than enough potential here for Wobbobobs to come back and win 6 rounds on the bounce. Already got round number 1 out the way. Now it's saying back on the offense. They're looking to get control of 8. See all 4 players inside train station. And Wobbobobs don't have anybody in the site. So this bomb could well go down without much resistance at all. It really depends on kind of what reaction we see out of Abuser and Shaxter.
But the doors are open, so the Abuser's just playing this corner, waiting for the time to throw in a nade, and Shaxter through the middle of the map comes through Ticket. He's gonna be able to find a time. Journey reads it. First blood will come through. But as Abuser already threw his grenade, now he needs to be able to get in towards a gunfight. Does find one, but the bot still goes down 3v3.
Super didn't trade that. Super did not go for that. It's just trying to wait patiently at the moment. Gunfight going around in the back, and Journey will beat down Brezzy. Now Abuser and Cobra here for the retake. Super could catch these guys off guard. They have no idea where he is. There's 1, there's 2. And aim, recover. They are not letting what happened in game number 2 happen here again. Round number 4 on the board for them.
I mean, that's just terrifying for a lot of different instances, right? Because, I mean, you saw exactly what you ended up calling out, is that Journey did not push for that trade immediately, and nor was he even stun checked, I believe, in that corner of Staircase. And that should be a very known position that needs to be cleared out when you're trying to retake that A bomb for a Wubbabubs. They don't end up checking it. Super finds the timing in from behind because the pressure from Journey was being called out. Hey, they are on the site. AIM Esports put themselves up 3 rounds yet again. This offensive attempt for Wubbabubs, bomb being carried by Chaxter's being brought in towards the A bomb, but Super just for that first blood is just absurd.
Up close and personal. Shaxter, though, with the trade. And now 3v2. Numbers in favor of a Wobbabobs. Quick picture-in-picture look, guys, over at that game between Katana Gaming and Team War, by the way, is the 1v1 right now. The dance of death between Shaxter and Eric Boom. Shaxter going to relocate himself over towards B. And there's confirmation, by the way, folks. Katana Gaming upsetting Team War. And we've just had countless upsets this season. I would say I'm surprised, and I probably still am to a degree, but wow, what an upset.
Actually gets a bomb down, gets timing from behind. Eric Boom able to get themselves in towards a position to be able to play for that exit, and guesses correctly. You have like what, like a 1 out of 3 chances of guessing you could come over by the dockside, could come out from the back. Eric Boom reads it out from the front. AIM Esports are able to put their 5th round on the board, but yeah, kind of insane to say the least, because I mean, Team War, they lost that initial hardpoint on Gavutu by a whopping 14 points. They get obliterated in the Tuscan search. Really felt like that things were going to be pieced back together after the reverse sweep on the Berlin control, but I mean, Katana just playing with a certain amount of gusto after their win versus Dizzy's Rascals on the day. AIM Esports looking to solidify their playoff run here versus the Wubbabubs.
Prezi getting very aggressive in this one. Gets shut down here by Yakko. 3v3 we go. Shaxter in for the trade. It's okay if you're a Wubbabobs fan, especially as Cobra going to draw another blood here. But this is good for AIM. Good reaction. They want to get this bomb down, and they want to try and win it this way.
On Eric's got an auto, so you can get up top warehouse. But the biggest issue is who's going to watch your flank. You just need to almost let Yakko just live on their own little light over there. Eric Boom needs to play that clutch position. So Yakko will go down, but nobody knows where Eric's at.
Oh,
no.
All right. Cobra, living up to his name. Venomous kill that. And the Wubbabobs will survive. But they have to take this 1 round at a time. The long journey ahead of them yet.
Really is. Just 1 round at a time. Need 4 more. That'll solidify a Wubbabubs in playoffs with a series scoreline record. AIM Esports again. I mean, barring just getting turned on there at the very end, I still don't know why Eric even drops from that position. Just try to guess where the gunfights are coming from. Maybe felt like a little bit of pressure. Maybe could have found the timing to deal with Cobra in towards the back and then immediately snap to the fence line. Odd enough as it may be, a Wubbabubs for their offense. 4 players strong over towards the BS&D, but AIM Esports seem to have read this.
They have. Can they stop it, though? That's the question. You've got players all the way pushed up, so you have to imagine they should be able to. Journey just currently keeping an eye on mid-map, though. And now that bomb, I think, see it from Journey's POV, it is trying to make its way across. Super. Going to draw that first blood, but good reaction from Cobra to take down Eric Boom. The players haven't quite got control of the site just yet, and Journey goes falling to Cobra as well, who is now on 5 in a row, by the way. Yakko's starting to make the approach towards the bomb site, but Chaxter's got other ideas. He's spotted out a different player, and unfortunately, I think he has his eyes on too many players.
Cobra inside of Mail. You have to assume that the clutch position is being held from Abuser on the opposite side, and Cobra baits out the timing. Super's there for the trade, so no glide bomb, but Abuser in the warehouse for the clutch position. We'll be able to at least get that trade on the super. That got a little hairy there as far as the retake was concerned. That one kill on the Chaxter I thought was going to be the end-all be-all, and then every other player for AIM Esports just going to start flooding in towards the back clear way inside of Mail, but stray gunfights coming through, just too difficult to overcome. But the job is still in there, right? I mean, a Wubbabubs, job well done. You got yourselves on the board. You're still alive in this best of 5. But job fantastically found for AIM Esports because he shut down Cobra, who was just 1 kill away from getting that glide. That could have been a snowball out of control.
Yeah. That was the thing I kind of focused on in that round, was that Cobra didn't get the glide. I was really concerned for AIM Esports there that they weren't going to stop it, but they do. So, Wubbabubs going to have to do this in the classic fashion, super putting some warning shots in towards Abuser. And this is a really good position, I think, for AIM Esports. Could potentially close this one out. Players over towards A. They are effectively in a 4 versus 2 if they do want to get the bomb down at B. That's not happening. They're rotating over towards A. Straight in a line of sight, these players. Chaxter wins the first one, gets away.
It's a bomb carrier as well. That needs to be collected.
Oh,
the coverage is there. Great help in the middle of the map. After it was immediately called out that Chaxter found that first, saw 3 players cross. Everybody from a Wubbabubs just collapsed on that immediate look. And now it's super in from the back. Already found one. Their positioning has been more than talked about, I'm sure, from a Wubbabubs. 40 seconds remaining. Super needs to recover this bomb and try to somehow extend this round, but he needs to get through 3 players along the way.
Resi going to take him down. I don't think this is what fans want to hear. I'm going to use the phrase 3 rounds on the bounce. Wubbabubs starting to put together the comeback. It's scary. It really is. And it really does feel like in that round, right, Andy, if they push to B with the bomb, like, they might have won that.
You're just going to start second-guessing everything now if you're AIM Esports. There was probably one person in the camp for AIM that probably said, like, I knew we should have committed over towards B, but someone found the pressure and wanted to make the rotation over inside of A. And to be fair, it would have been easier if Yako didn't get blooded by Chaxter inside that corner. 3 rounds in a row now for a Wubbabubs, looking to continue on with this momentum. Cobra quickly getting inside of Mail as Journey takes a forward position inside of B because the Wubbabubs have planted here probably the majority of the time.
Stunned, but he gets forward. Into a safe position is now Journey. And that's a problem that a Wubbabubs do have to deal with. Cobra gets a look onto him, but is the reaction here from Yako? He's pushing for it. No! The team kill coming through from Super! That's not good for AIM, but Yako in behind enemy lines, able to get down Brezzy. Journey also the kill on towards Chaxter. This round is flipped on its head. Team nade or not, Cobra and Abuser have 0 power in this situation.
No, they don't. Cobra needs to watch the cross, needs to find a timing. They're actually going to get counterflanked, I believe. I saw one more player over by train station. Again, we have no mini-map, but it seems like that player completely went back inside of offices. Now Cobra has a chance to get in from behind. He knows that Journey is probably still over by the dockside and not inside the B hut. Super spots him out.
Super gonna fall. Yeah, Wubbabubs playing that one perfectly. Cobra and Abuser playing this one together. But again, the ultimate problem here is 30 seconds on the clock. You do not have control of the bomb. And it's one of those situations where the timer on the round might put you in a panicky situation, and Yako's just spotted out Abuser as well. Playing this one patiently, the kill is through. Cobra 1v2, he's stuck in an AIM sandwich, and he is crushed. AIM with the reverse sweep to keep their hopes and dreams of qualification for playoffs alive, to keep the hopes and dreams of qualification out of reach of Wubbabubs. The tale of Season 4 of Challengers Elite continues with yet another cliffhanger, yet another bump in the road. Woo. Another twist in the tale. How many are we going to see? What is this? It's like the writers of, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came in and was just like, yeah, we're going to write Challengers Elite Season 4. We're going to, like, put a load of, like, twists in and such. It's crazy. It is.
There's only a select few people that are going to understand that reference.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you appreciate it, and that's all that matters.
Well, it was a stretch, but you know, I do appreciate a good Marvel reference. But yeah, I mean, in AIM Esports, their immediate problem throughout that entirety of the Tuscan Search and Destroy was not over-investing, but kind of playing a little bit too passively and giving up a lot of space to a Wubbabubs on that Tuscan Search and Destroy. That was not a problem through the majority of those rounds that were showcased for AIM Esports. It just took all of the Wubbabubs just to dial it up just one extra notch, right, to really put AIM Esports on the back burner. But you saw just continuous amount of denial of space throughout the majority of those rounds from AIM Esports, whether it was Super with the Car 98K or the Automaton looking through the middle of the map. You had Journey, who was continuously trying to instigate kills across that inside of the B hut, if not extend themselves inside of Mail. Yako, albeit the objective player carrying the bomb through a lot of those offensive attempts, were still fishing their way for those first bloods. He put 3 on the board comparatively to Super's 4, but 9 and 6 for your OBJ player through those offensive rounds, working their way in, finding that first blood plus getting the plant. If they're getting away with their life, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better result for an opening offensive attempt for Maine Esports in their camp.
Oh, well, here's a look at, well, about 75% of the stats. As Wobs didn't really want to stay towards the end, so we can't show you exactly what happened for the remaining 2 players there. Of course, Chaxter and Abuser. Don't know what happened. Probably didn't have that great of a KD at the end of it. That's probably why they left. But regardless, for Amy Sports, at least we can highlight the positives for them, for that roster. A really good search and destroy from them. I think they fixed some crucial mistakes that we saw in game number 2. And quite frankly, they didn't see a breakdown like they did back then. So, massive victory for them. But as I've done throughout today, let's talk big picture for a second here, Andy, because I think there's a huge picture, Picasso-sized picture to talk about. There's 7 teams or so that are in the conversation for qualification still. We haven't seen something as crazy as this, I think, since I want to say like season 2 of North American Elite, right? Because you remember how like nuts that was, where it was like 5 or 6 teams could qualify. This is crazy. Obviously, we don't know exactly who can still qualify. I believe I saw Toronto because Ultra Academy EU just lost to Invincibles, who have had a great day, by the way. They are now 3-3. So, like, I don't know if they can qualify now, even if they go 4-3 against.
Well, no, Ultra EU beat
Oh, no.
the Invincibles. Ultra EU
Oh,
beat
they did?
Invincibles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Oh,
was
so
about to say, like,
see
you made me second guess that just for a
Yeah,
second.
I saw tweets and I was like, I'm so confused now. All right, don't worry about it. Anyway, I probably just got the names confused. Regardless, I think Invincibles can no longer qualify then because they're 2-4. So I think they're now out of the conversation. Dizzy's Rascals are 0-6. So those 2 teams are the only ones out. Katana Game is win versus war, though. That shakes everything up because now they've got 2 wins today. That puts them 3-3. They're in the conversation. Ultra beating Invincibles. There you go, guys. They actually are 3-3 now. AIM, they are 4-2. Yeah, there's 4 teams, I believe, that 4-2 currently sitting at the top. God knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Even though we're not casting tomorrow, Andy, I'm sure we'll both still be working out the permutations. For
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you and I are both cut from the same cloth, my friend. Where we're like, we literally just look at permutations, and it's just something to get me through the evening here. And so, I mean, it's something that I'm immediately going to be looking at. But I mean, if you are Ultra Academy EU, you're immediately going to be looking at that rescheduled game, obviously versus AIM Esports that you did lose, because that might be your immediate ticket in, right? To try to work your way in, because if you do end up winning your match tomorrow, you'll be 4-3, and the same could honestly be said versus AIM Esports, depending on what happens with their matchup. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out, but it always comes down to those head-to-heads. We always end up talking about it. I'm sure a lot of people at home, whether it's in the YouTube chat or maybe it ends up on a subreddit somewhere, I don't care, because every match, especially versus those other top 4 teams, absolutely do matter. Because here in the round robin stage, you know, we talked about it briefly at the beginning of this AIM Esports versus the Wubbabubs matchup, that there's always that 15 that basically beckons to try to work their way in to be a top 4 playoff team. Yeah. So you are by no stretch of the imagination ever safe. So you got to make sure that you try to win every matchup, obviously, but it's those crucial ones versus the other top 5 teams that absolutely come to be the difference maker, whether or not you do have that head-to-head, that overall series record, to be able to be a top 4 team for playoffs at the end of this round robin stage.
Well, all I know is that Europe has provided quite a treat for our friends Seymour and Enigma tomorrow, as they'll be casting the games. For you and I here in week number 2, we're done and dusted. We're going to be handing over the reins to another couple of wonderful folks, although I can't remember who's casting now because my brain's just disappeared.
Susano and Cruisin'.
Yeah, it's Susano and Cruisin'. You told me this earlier, and I still forgot. I'm sorry, guys. Those guys will be handing things over, though, to North America, and I have no doubt that North America will be just as insane as Europe has been. Of course, you guys can catch that action at 11:30 GMT, BST, whatever we're at right now. I think it's like 6:30 Eastern Time is all you need to know for North American matches. But for us here, for Europe, for Call of Duty Challengers Elite, for Clutch, we are done with day number 1 of the action. If you want to see the conclusion again, make sure you tune in at the same time tomorrow, where Seymour and Enigma for bringing you all the action. For now, though, we're going to go to a break. When we return, we've got North America of Challengers Elite here for week number 2, right after this.